Don't rush me, you motherfucker. Okay. Oh, wait, you were live? I didn't know you were live. You didn't tell me you were live, man. Okay, whatever. That's cool. That's cool. I didn't say anything bad, bro. I didn't say anything bad. Hold on. I can't even hear you. Give me a second. The audio is going to the Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I think my mic was muted because I unplugged it. Automatically mutes. What a screw up. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
This guy didn't tell me he was starting to stream. Okay, so I was like, I just came on. I friendly cussed him out, and then
cussed me out. Yeah, you used one curse word on me, and that's
well, nothing. Yeah.
Anyways, let's just get started. Thank you all so much for joining us. It is night 3 of the Democratic National Convention. Thank you guys for all telling me in the chat that I was muted. Stuff happens when it comes to this streaming thing, but we're all getting better with each stream. Every single stream we have, it gets just a little bit more fun, usually, unless sometimes it'll just, so like it did yesterday, it just didn't go so well for them. We had fun though, and we're going to have even more fun tonight together with you, me, Vince Dow, everybody in the chat. We're going to have some fun. We have the caps thrown up in the chat. I actually have a new little sound. I got tired of hearing Ben Shapiro laugh yesterday, so instead we got the real thing. So this is going to be a big night for Kamala Harris. So whenever the thumbnail for the Democrat live stream is literally a picture of her. So I think it's going to be focused more on her. So whenever her name is dropped, we're going to have her give us a very devilish laugh, of course, as you just heard. So it's going to be bone chilling to the max. Everybody's loving it already. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And we're going to get started with the Democratic National Convention at 9 p.m. Let me actually just throw that up on the screen, this as well. And it's going to be a fun night. So be sure to stick with us. If you aren't already, make sure you hit that like button, you subscribe, and you share this on all your social media so that everybody else can join in on the fun too.
Yeah, so tonight's speaking list, guys, the shorthand, I haven't seen all the speakers, but includes Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, or Barack America, as Joe Biden seems to refer him to, and Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, and obviously I believe the headline speaker is going to be Joe Biden's vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris. So I think this night's going to be a lot more interesting than last night. Okay, like we got actually like interesting people that we're going to bring out the Elizabeth Warren jokes as usual. I believe she'll be speaking on behalf of the Democrat Native American Caucus, if I'm not mistaken there. But
I saw a tweet about that actually said this has to be parody, right? Because we have Joe Biden as a candidate, which is a joke enough. Yeah. But then we have Elizabeth Warren speaking on Native American issues, and then there was one other one that was like just absolutely crazy that is speaking about something that they really should not be speaking about. I might actually have to find that tweet. It was hilarious.
Yeah, but I think there was something the other day where she was actually like speaking on behalf of speaking at a panel of like the Native Americans or whatever. Like, is she really still running with this? Is she really bringing this back? Like, it was such a disaster. It actually almost ended her presidential campaign when she went with it. And luckily for her, Trump sort of went after her way too early. But that almost like ended her, and now she's really going to bring that back. I don't think that's a very great political strategy for her.
No, not a good political strategy whatsoever. In fact, I don't think there's any political strategy going on with her at all. I don't think there's much strategizing that goes into what she does. She just goes out there, gives her little "thank you all for coming on." You know, it's always great to be in the great state of Wisconsin, where my elders would summon the rains with their sticks, and then they'd be like, "Elizabeth, those aren't your elders. Those are just the people in the storybooks. I'll tell you something." And then they're like, "You're 1/1024th. Uh-oh."
She's gonna feed you her powwow chow that features it features seafood in it, and the Cherokee are in Oklahoma now, and even historically weren't even that close to the water. But of course, it features, I believe, like New England seafood for a southeastern Native American tribe, and it's called powwow chow. Okay, like you can tell she's clearly just so in touch with her Native American heritage with that powwow chow over there.
Yeah, good old powwow clam chowder, which makes a lot of sense, right? We're all in agreement for that one, right?
Yeah, clam chowder from the Cherokee, because that's what they historically eat, and I'm really sure of that.
Yes, I'm just going to announce this out to my other social media, get everybody in on this train. We are going to be live streaming. Okay, so we have Kanye West in the chat. We have Ben Shapiro. Last night we had the one and only Bernie Sanders in here right as he was getting shouted out by AOC. Speaking of that, somebody asked, what was the reaction about AOC? She had about 3 minutes of speaking time, and of that time she spent it staring into our eyes with her big bulbous ones. And, well, that's how it went. She was just, I nominate Bernie Sanders, which is just, she had to do it. And that's, That was her speech. She didn't get to say much else.
Yeah, so Chandler, in case you're confused, I started this thing just started spontaneously in my streams like 2 weeks ago, where famous people just started entering. I think it all started when Joe Biden. No, it started when Donald Trump entered the stream, and then someone made an account called Joe Biden, and that started, and they started going at it in my chat, and then eventually we just had a bunch of people. So we had Kanye, we got George Washington, and just a lot of other people.
Yeah, we have the very idea of common sense in here. And he asked what happened on day 2. I sadly couldn't watch it with you guys.
There's nothing worthwhile watching. Actually, I thought, watching back, I think Jill Biden's speech was a lot better than Michelle Obama's, but Jill Biden doesn't have that cult following around her. Okay. She's not so stunning and bold and brave like Michelle Obama is. So she's not going to get the same praise. Oh my God, that was so amazing. That's the best thing I ever watched from the Democrats that Michelle got. Cause you know how it is. You all know how it is.
Yeah. I think the only thing anybody's going to remember is how similarly Jill and Joe Biden's names are. And it comes out, it says, I'm Jill Biden's husband, but it just sounds like Joe. And it's like, uh-oh, that's another one. Another one bites the dust.
Yes, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
No, imagine one day he says, I'm Joe Biden's husband, and then something like, I'm Hunter Biden. Because now he always mixes up his sister and his wife. Imagine he mixes up himself and his son. That's like the equivalent. You can't get much better than that. In all honesty. And one thing that makes our streams very interesting, if this is your first time tuning in, is that every single time we hear the name Biden, Trump, or Biden again, and Kamala, we play one of these sound clips. So for Biden, we have 2 different sound clips. We have
I got hairy legs.
And
go, you know the thing.
Anytime Trump comes on, everybody knows one. We say
billions.
Just got to do it again.
Billions.
It'll honestly always bring a smile to your face. And then the new addition, like I told you guys before, is for Kamala Harris. Every time her name is brought up. And every single time we get to hear some good old laughter. Hold on. We have somebody spamming in the chat. You got to love it. But yeah, every single time we hear one of those names, we're going to throw up one of those clips. And that's what makes our stream unique, because we're not just sitting here stone-faced as we're watching this as pretty much any other normal person would be. We're actually reacting. We're actually giving commentary. And we're actually trying to make it fun for everybody here so that you can stay awake. Our challenge is as well to make ourselves stay awake, but to make you guys stay awake too. And that's going to be difficult, but we do our best, and I sure hope we make it. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. We have the best chat. The chat makes it way more fun than it could be with just you guys. I know some people watch the stream and don't participate in the chat, but this is your invite. Come on, open up that live chat button and just have a conversation with us. We see a lot of the chat messages. We'll put some on screen. And if you guys say something genuinely funny, we will put it up on screen and give a big laugh. And I'm going to hand it off to Vince, but before I do, I have to give a big thanks to Ann Pickhock, who sent a $25 super chat. Thank you so much for all your support. Everybody that's watching through my channel, everybody that's watching through Vince's channel, you guys are all amazing, and we would not be anywhere without you guys.
Yes, I think tonight or tomorrow they're supposed to be having, I think who is now the widow of John McCain speaking. And this is there's sort of this underlying theme of the DNC you've seen. They had John Kasich, they had Colin Powell, and it just what's so out of touch to me is this idea they have that somehow they are making a statement by bringing on these Bush, Romney, McCain establishment Republicans, and they think it's making this big statement like Republicans are rejecting Trump. Like, well, wait a minute. Like, say what you will about Trump, but that is the point. And I made a video about this, but say what you will about Trump, but that is the point of Donald Trump. Okay. The point of Trump, and everyone has known this since like the primary season 2016, has been to be against the Bush, Romney, McCain establishment. And so they feel so proud of themselves that they're bringing on people like Kasich and McCain's widow and all these people. But I don't think what they're kind of missing is that, okay, the normal Republicans are just watching that, and they're not like, whoa, I can't believe the nerve of this person. Like, no, we're not. We're just watching and thinking, oh, yeah, we've known that. We've known that for a long time. The establishment figures of the GOP that had power, I would say, before Trump was in office, are now very mad that their legacies have sort of been supplanted by his, and we've always known that.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing to see that the Democrats are so proud to bring on rhinos that we already have known to be rhinos for years now. Somebody's quoting "Wash Us in the Blood." I love that song. We might have to play that if it doesn't copyright us, which it will. But anyways, you have all these rhinos that are being brought onto the Democratic National Convention. Who knows if they're being paid or not? I bet they are, because this is a whole production. It's a whole movie. You know exactly what they're doing, but they're so proud of it. But then you realize something, that we don't like these people. That's exactly what you said. We elected Trump because we got tired of people like Romney, or all those other guys. What's his name? The person who has the widow.
McCain?
Yes, McCain.
Yeah.
I was thinking Kane, which I know is a Democrat person. I forgot the Mick, but yes, McCain. So all these different people that have been for years the ire of the general Republican. We're tired of these kinds of people. So that's why we got Trump in office. And yet they think bringing these people on is going to sway anybody. It may sway some of the rhinos who were already saying, I don't like what Trump is saying or something like that. But they were already going to not vote or vote for Biden. So they're just not really doing anything. And that's what a lot of what we've seen with the Democratic National Convention these days, or these last few days we've been watching, is that they're not really accomplishing anything. I believe it was after the very first day that Vince and I were discussing it, and I said that it was cool and all. It was like a souffle, though. You cut it open and there was nothing really there. None of us learned anything new. It was just a couple, like an hour, 3 hours or so of just dead air regarding the normal thing they talk about. It's just Trump bad, Orange Man bad, racism bad, Black Lives Matter, other stuff like that they would just say over and over again, droning on until one day your eyes start to, float around and you just vote Democrat, because that's the mind control games they try to play on you by saying those buzzwords over and over again and making you fear every single thing that they can make you fear.
No, yeah, the thing is you have like the Lincoln Project, the worst Twitter account in all of Twitter. Okay, I rate that like the worst of 2020. But you have these groups like the Lincoln Project trying to make it act like Republican support of Trump is faltering. I'm sure there are, and I probably know a few Republicans who they're not really, I wouldn't call them conservatives, but they vote Republican, who are genuinely sort of put off by Trump. But what I will say is that in greater numbers, there are people who were not that enthusiastic about Romney. We're not that enthusiastic about McCain. Like my grandpa, for instance, like he's a Republican. He's always been a Republican. He's a conservative, but he actually didn't vote for McCain in 2008 because he couldn't stand the fact that McCain was not solidly conservative in a lot of his beliefs. And so I think you have, on the contrast of, yes, there's some people leaving the Republican Party because they don't like Trump, and that's true. But I think there are way more people who are conservative and who are just working class people who never were really into politics and now are into Trump's populism. I think there's way more of that than there are people sort of leaving, the Republican Party because of Trump. The reality is that this idea of the anti-Trump Republican is really a creation of the media. Okay, like I saw the story from ABC the other day. They had this story about this Trump voter, this person who voted for Trump in 2016 and was leaving the party, and the whole story was about this one person. And it wasn't even like a famous person. It was just this random voter from wherever, and they did a whole story on this one person who said, I voted for Trump in 2016. I'm not voting for him now. One guy, well, it was a lady, one lady. That was it. That's their news story, really? I mean, you have like on the other side, there's a whole Walk Away is like an organization, but there's even a movement bigger than Walk Away. Like it's not just Walk Away, just in general. There are so many people who have basically woken up after 2016 and have left the Democratic Party for the Republican Party. I think I definitely have to say that the exodus from the left is a lot greater than the exodus from the right. I don't have numbers on that, but you can feel it, you can see it.
Yeah, I believe that statement is absolutely true. You can look at all these different movements, and you can turn on the media and look at all these former Republicans. I honestly don't believe they were really Republicans to begin with. Maybe they were, 2000 Republicans or something like that. Or maybe they were Democrats who thought they became Republicans or whatever they thought they were. And now they're saying they're former Republicans and that they're coming out to disavow Trump and say, oh, Trump was a racist, or, Trump left me or something like that. Or I voted for Trump in 2016, but I'm not voting for him in 2020 because of this, and this. Do they really think they're going to capture anybody? Because the same people who voted for Trump in 2016 that weren't joking or weren't just like, oh, for the hell of it, they were actually like, this is what Trump is going to do for us. He's going to drain the swamp. He's going to change politics for the good. He's going to change politics for everyone. That's exactly what he did. He brought a whole new paradigm in for American politics that we haven't seen in American history, period. Do we really think the same people that voted him in 2016 for that precise reason haven't seen the results they wanted? He has begun to drain the swamp. We've seen Epstein. We've seen all these Democrat politicians that are suddenly being unearthed. In fact, I'm going to show you right here. We have this. These are the kinds of things that are starting to become unearthed, that are coming out from way deep below the surface of the swamp. He got in there. He started patting his feet around it. Started to float up like the mud and dirt that it is. And now it's clear for everybody to see in that swamp that we have, past the trees and the leaves that were blocking it off previously. We're all seeing it. He has begun the job of draining the swamp. It's a long job. He's going to need as long as he can get for it. Do you really think the people that voted for him to do that and have been seeing those results are not going to vote for him again to continue that progress he made? Do we really think so? No, I don't think any of us think so, because every single person that's watching this stream, every single person that's still on the Trump train is not foolish enough to believe any of those people. And if you are starting to think, oh, maybe support is wavering, there may be some credit to that. But you also have to notice that this is an election. And even though it's an unconventional election, to say the least, considering that Joe Biden wouldn't even show up to Milwaukee to accept his own nomination, even though there's still that, this is an unconventional election, but it is still an election. So you have to realize that things are going to ebb and flow. So for a while now, it was looking like, oh, well, Joe Biden looks like he's getting an edge. And then he got Kamala Harris on his side. Now suddenly it's starting to look a lot more like Trump. We're getting some Trump rallies back. Trump was just in Arizona, I believe, in Air Force One, giving a speech. I think he was out there in Yuma. Said it was like 1,000 degrees. He was giving a speech earlier today at the White House, I believe. He's been all over, while Joe Biden is still sitting in his basement doing his little Democratic National Convention as his wife gives a long speech. And then he comes up from the woodwork, takes off his mask, gives her a little kiss. I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden. And this, I forgot to message actually. Thank you all for coming. I'll catch you next time. That's the story for Joe Biden. Do people actually look at Joe Biden and Trump and say to themselves, I wonder which one I could pick? You know, every single Democrat that says, oh, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, and you said this yesterday, it was very, very accurate, I'm going to settle for Biden. You know, I don't like Trump, and I don't really like Biden either, but I'm going to settle for Biden. No one is actually enthusiastic about Biden. I want to ask everybody in the chat, before I pass it back to Vince, have you guys actually seen a Joe Biden sign in the wild, or a Joe Biden bumper sticker? Maybe you've seen one. I'll give you that. Maybe one. On the off chance, maybe 1% of you guys have seen two. I have seen zero. I've been all over the country, but I have seen zero. Vince, what about you? Have you seen a Joe Biden sign?
I live in California, Los Angeles, California, and I can tell you I've not seen one. Now, I've seen plenty of Black Lives Matter stickers. I've seen plenty of Bernie Sanders stickers. I've even seen some people in 2020 still have the Hillary Clinton sticker on their car. Like, what a loser you are. But I still am yet to see one single Joe Biden sticker. Like, believe it or not. And I've seen the coexist sticker. I've seen plenty of like hippie crap on the back of people's cars. I've never seen one single Joe Biden sticker.
Yeah, I've seen all sorts of different signs. Somebody said in the chat that they've seen Sanders stickers. I've still seen some of those. I've seen a lot of Obama 2008 stickers and Obama 2012 stickers, and they're very proud of that one for how long they had that. I have seen some Hillary stickers as well. I even saw some Tulsi stickers, and I saw a ton of Tulsi billboards too that still haven't been taken down. And it's always nice to see those in the wild. I think I posted about one of those on Instagram like months back. It was pretty crazy to see, but I've seen all those billboards, and yet I've never seen anything about Biden. And these days I've been seeing a lot of Trump ads too. I think Trump did another wave of dumping into ad funding, and I've just seen so many Trump signs, so many Trump ads, so many Trump flags. We have Trump music now. We've got, everybody knows Bryson Gray's making Trump songs, and other people coming out to make Trump songs. I'm coming out to make some Trump songs too. Be on the lookout for some more of those, but still, the enthusiasm when it comes to supporting Trump in comparison to supporting Biden is absolutely unparalleled. Sure, you can say, oh, support for Trump is falling, and whether that's true or not is irrelevant, because if you looked at the people and if you looked at their enthusiasm, it looks like a landslide right now for Trump, because nobody is actually enthusiastic about good old Joe, who's been in politics since the 70s, been in politics since just around the Vietnam War, or we have Trump, who's a new wave, 2016, 2020, changing the way American politics functions. Is it really even a comparison? Come on now.
I think hatred for Trump is a very strong force among Democratic voters, and it's definitely, you can't underestimate that. But at the same time, the question is hatred for Trump so powerful that it will actually get people to turn out for Joe Biden? Because Joe Biden is, frankly, like the lamest candidate probably in modern political history. Like nobody matches just how bad and how unenthusiastic people. When the mainstream slogan around him is "settle for Biden" among his voters, you know, like this is not. This is the least enthusiastic campaign ever. Okay, it's not just Sleepy Joe. It's a sleepy campaign, and the question, I guess, will be: is hatred for Trump strong enough to actually get people to go out and vote for Biden in the middle of coronavirus and all this other stuff, where frankly I think a lot of people are distracted? Like, you've seen the ratings for the DNC, terrible. Yeah. I think last night 48% less viewership than they were last year, and I mean, not last year, in 2016. And
those dislikes, 1,000 dislikes, only 4,000 people watching. Isn't that sad?
No, the Democrats are running a dead campaign, and it could work just because people are that unenthusiastic. I mean, that the people hate Trump that much, and I think that's why their entire convention is basically how much we hate Trump, because they know their own candidate sucks. They know their own candidate has nothing to offer. So that's why they try to bring out the force that they know their voters actually care about, which is, hey, you may think Biden is a bumbling buffoon with early onset dementia, but do you want 4 more years of Trump? There are a lot of people that would say, no, I don't care who the hell it is. I don't care if it's freaking sleepy Joe Biden. I cannot take 4 more years of Trump.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen a lot of that, and I believe that hatred for Trump is going to be a very strong driving force. People would rather.
It's the only strong driver.
Yeah,
There's zero other.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really drives them to do anything. The only reason liberals wake up in the morning is so that they can go on Twitter and say F Trump and ACAB again. That's like the only reason. They're all like really sad or upset with their lives. It doesn't matter who's president, even if they try to attribute it to Trump and say I'm depressed because of the era we're living in and the oppression for my black brothers and sisters or some crap like that. But no matter what, you'd be depressed no matter what. You don't really live a happy life when you're living in that side of things and that lifestyle. But just looking at that whole outer atmosphere of all the support for things, the hatred for Trump is the only driving force for Biden. And I think that's a really clear thing to see at this point. You can look at all the signs and look at all the slogans that people will push. I haven't seen anybody say "Build Back Better" or anything, but I've seen people say "F Trump." I've seen people say ACAB. I've seen people say all sorts of things, but you can really always assume that they're going to bridge into that one path or not vote at all.
I think enthusiasm for Trump is higher actually than it was in 2016. And that's not to say that there aren't probably some 2016 voters that have left, but it just feels now like Trump's army is just so much bigger, but at the same time, there was a lot more enthusiasm for Hillary than there was for Biden. Now, people forget this because we always remember Hillary as this terrible candidate who was corrupt and nobody liked her. And that was absolutely true. But we should remember that there were actually people who were enthusiastic about Hillary. We actually saw Hillary stickers. We actually saw people show up to Hillary like Hillary's rallies were nowhere close to Trump, but she had decent turnout, actually decent energy. It wasn't the best energy we've ever seen, but she did have some energy. There was some energy on her side. There were some people who were actually enthusiastic about voting for her. A lot of it was just because she was a woman. That was all. Like, we want a first woman president. That was basically their logic, right? But regardless, there was energy behind Hillary. There is no energy behind Biden. Like, there is none. There was no such thing as settle for Hillary. Okay, not at least with some Bernie Sanders voters. Like, yeah, they tried to basically do that shit. But now the mainstream of Democratic voters are basically saying settle for Biden. Like, you will not find basically. I'm still yet to meet one Democratic voter. Many of them are voting for Biden. I'm still yet to meet one that is really enthusiastic and excited to vote for Biden. They're like, yes, I know Biden sucks. Like, they'll admit they'll immediately concede that their candidate sucks. You didn't have that as much as with Hillary.
And even the media and all the people that are running this whole election and the whole pandemic clown show from the background see how bad of a candidate that Joe Biden is, so much so that they're now trying to push as hard as they can for mail-in voting, which I think this has been the cause of all this panic. Because if we had a normal virus, I don't believe we would have had as many shutdowns as we had. But they were able to manipulate the media into making this virus a much larger public thing, so much so that we had this huge shutdown right before election season. We get all the way through the year to election season, this grueling year to election season, and now they're trying to push extremely hard for mail-in voting, and it just all the pieces line up so perfectly to get to that mail-in voting fraud. And we lost a ton of votes, but we know they were for Biden, so Biden wins type of election that I know they want to go for as hard as they can, because they know that as hard as they work for Joe Biden and as hard as Joe Biden's going to push himself to remember where he is, it simply won't be enough to win the election. So they're going to have to cheat for it. That's just simply where they stand right now. And they've put all the pieces together, and we're trying to resist as hard as we can against mail-in voting and against that fraud that will come through. And you have to understand that there's a difference between absentee ballots and mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is where they just ship out ballots to whoever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want, while absentee ballots are what you have to request. They get sent to you, and then you send them back, and is much more secure and has way less room, if any, for voter fraud. That's what we're trying to fight for, absentee ballot voting. But instead, they're trying to vote for massive mail-in voting that is going to corrupt and dilute this entire election to the point that we'll have a dementia-ridden president like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who's really going to be running it from the background, in office.
I saw this headline out of Michigan. I think it was they did primaries in Michigan, they had to reject, I believe it was 11,000 mail-in ballots for whatever reason. But here's the thing: they had to reject, I think it was about 800 ballots because the person who sent them in was dead, like they were dead. Which begs the question: okay, if they were dead, then who the hell sent in? They were dead or they moved. Who the hell sent in the ballot? I mean, who the hell sent in this person's ballot if they're dead, right? So they always say like voter fraud is a myth. When they say that, they're talking about, and it's not even a myth, but when they say that, they're talking about like it's rare that we have found specific cases where we can track down and basically charge people with crimes. And there have been people, like I think in California, they just found someone who tried to vote for in the name of their dead mother 3 times. Okay, I don't know how they managed to get that done, but this does happen. But the thing is, the cases like this, they don't count them as voter fraud because they can't track down who did the fraud. But that doesn't. 800 people who died, and somehow a ballot got sent in. Who's sending in the ballot, right? Unless they magically died before, But I'm pretty sure, like, who's sending in their ballot if they're dead? That's straight up voter fraud. Just because we don't know who sent it in doesn't mean like there are severe problems with universal mail-in voting. And honestly, like, absentee balloting itself, there is some degree of uncertainty. It's somewhat insecure, but at least in the case of absentee balloting, you kind of know, like, you have to apply for it and you have to get it. So there's this degree of uncertainty to what you're doing. Okay. Whereas you basically sending in a ballot to every mailbox of a registered voter in America, it's going to be an absolute disaster.
It's going to be 100% a disaster, and that's exactly what we're going to see if it comes through, and that's why I say they're relying on it so heavily. And to get back to that mail-in voting point, mail-in voting and dead people having their ballots getting sent in makes about as much sense as somebody killing themselves by shooting themselves in the back of the head twice. If you guys understand that reference, you're laughing really hard right now, because it makes a lot of sense. The fact that it doesn't make sense is what makes sense, is that mail-in voting is being peddled and pushed so hard. And you saw in the live streams how heavily they're trying to say that, oh, Trump is trying to disenfranchise you. He's trying to say, or he's trying to push against you being able to vote. No, he's trying to push against this election being stolen. They always say Trump is going to cheat on the election. If Trump was trying to cheat on the election, then why would he be trying to push voter ID and a secure election so difficult or so hard if he wasn't actually trying to cheat? Or if he was actually trying to cheat? It doesn't make any sense what they're saying.
Well, here's the thing about mail-in voting is actually, if it were a secure system, people don't really like to admit this. They never think about this. But if mail-in voting could be guaranteed to be a secure system, it would benefit the Republicans, especially during coronavirus. Why? Well, look who is the primary voting group that is affected the most by coronavirus, that they're the most scared to go out in person and vote. Well, it's old people. Right? Old people are the most vulnerable to coronavirus. They're going to be the most scared. Guess what? Old people primarily vote Republican. Okay, so almost very overwhelmingly that age group. So if Republicans are trying to suppress the vote, why would they be trying to suppress their own vote if this was about trying to suppress the vote? That's about, like, it's the young people who primarily vote Democrat that are more healthy and have a less risk going out to vote. Or think about this. What about people that live in like rural areas, like people live on farms and crap? Well, we know they're very Republican voters. Well, mail-in voting actually benefits them a lot. I'm sure a lot of them do absentee ballot because if you live on a freaking farm in the middle of nowhere, your closest polling station is probably going to be pretty far away, and it's probably going to be a pain in the butt to go out and drive all the way that distance. And so people live in rural areas and old people, they are the people who would be most benefited by doing mail-in voting. Okay, and so if this was really about suppressing voter suppression, then why exactly would Republicans want to suppress their own voting demographics? It doesn't make sense. If it's not about security, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a really good point to make. What do the Republicans have to gain by blocking mail-in voting? Because when you look at the name, and this goes for a lot of things that the Democrats push, when you just look at the straight name, you're going to think to yourself and you're going to say, well, hey, that sounds pretty good. Gun control. Whoa, we can control the guns and stop people from using them in a wrong way. Hey, that sounds pretty good. Or, the feminist movement. Oh, feminism, that sounds pretty nice until you dig deeper into those things that they push for. Or, hey, March for Our Lives, or an assault weapon ban. You look at all those different things that they push for so heavily, and on the surface and on the name, it looks really nice. But that is exactly what they do. They play a very advanced linguistics game, a very good marketing game, a very good packaging game. And I've said this many times before, and I will say it many times again, that this is exactly what they've been training themselves to do for many years, I'd say decades, if not a century, to make things sound a lot better than they actually are. So mail-in voting, well, that sounds great until you dig deep into it. And of course, like Vince just said, imagine all those rural voters, people who actually cannot move or cannot go to the election center and do it themselves, getting a vote in the mail. Well, hey, that sounds pretty good. So why would the Democrats be pushing so hard for it if they would actually if it would be detrimental to them. Why would they be pushing so hard for it if it wouldn't actually help them out? So you have to dig into the conflict of interest there, and it really lays credence to, it really supports the idea that it is all a part of their plan to manipulate the votes. We've been saying it many times, and it's really clear to see, especially with the dead people voting, with house cats voting. We saw the research that shows you got the house cat that voted. The house cat got a ballot somehow. I don't even know how it's registered in the same system as humans. Dead people voting, all those crazy systems, and plenty of the ballots being lost in the mail. Why would they be pushing for it so hard if they would lose out on it, and if it's not even very secure at all?
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Go ahead.
And here's the thing, whatever the state's election system is, because I know some states have been doing like universal mail-in voting. I think Utah has been doing that for a long time. Whatever it is, you cannot make a new election system like we're how many months away from the election? Like 3 months away. You can't just suddenly change the damn voting system 3 months away from the election. Like you can't just drastically transform what the hell you're gonna do. If you want to change the system by which you vote in a state, I would say you start on off your elections and you slowly, gradually implement it. And you cannot simply expect to, all the elections in November, it's almost September now. Okay, let's change the voting system right now and expect that to go smoothly. In an election this important, you cannot afford that. You just can't.
Yeah, we really cannot afford to let this election fall to the wayside at any point. So somebody said it in the chat earlier, we cannot let ourselves get complacent. So if you are able to vote and you find yourself agreeing a lot more with what Trump says than what Biden says, then I urge you, or even if you support Biden, I urge you to go out and vote, because the more votes we have, the more accurate it will be and the more involved you will be in politics. Now, of course, I would suggest you vote for Trump, but I would also suggest that you do your own research and find your own conclusions. I know a lot of people watching this are Trump supporters. A lot of people are very different ages. Some of you are above the age of 18. If you are able to vote and you're in a state that is allowing you to do in-person voting, which I hope is all of them, if you're able to do that, then get out there and do exactly what you need to do. Get to that ballot center and vote. If you get a mail-in ballot, I'm sorry about that, because that just means that your state is probably going to get screwed up in terms of the election. I hope everything goes well with this election, but we're going to have to see how it goes. They're trying to cheat this whole election, but if we fight as hard as we can, it should go the way it's supposed to.
Yep. Here's the thing, is that if I've said this many times, but just given how divided the country is, we need to have the results of the election on election night. We do. Because if it goes down to some type of recount or they find ballots somewhere, I don't care who wins, whether it's Trump or Biden, there's going to be freaking problems in this country. I can guarantee you, okay? If we cannot have a decisive winner in this election, which is it's very, people underestimate how important that is. Like, people need to know who won, and it feels like Hillary voters. They brought up the Russia thing in denial, but deep down they know, like, they feel secure knowing, okay, we genuinely lost that election. But we have this crap with mail-in voting where we're finding ballots, losing ballots, tossing ballots out because the signature's messed up or whatever, the voter's dead. There's all this mess, and we have to do all these recounts, and it takes months, like it did in New York. It takes months and months to get the results. First of all, the country's going to be extremely divided over that. Okay, so there's going to be, I would argue, there's not just going to be problems. There's going to be civil unrest. Okay, regardless of what happens if we go down to that. But as a country, all the mess that's happened, all we've been fighting each other, we need to know at the end of the day who won the election and let it be decisive. Okay, because if you thought 2000 people were bitter, okay, you haven't seen anything close to what you're going to see in 2020 if we cannot get decisive results.
Yeah, we had people literally saying we're going to burn the streets of Milwaukee if Bernie Sanders wasn't the nominee. And of course, I don't believe we saw that. Well, you can look at the riots. I guess that might be a different story. Instead of Milwaukee, it was Minneapolis, Portland, DC, Atlanta, and plenty of other cities. But they literally said they're going to see streets burn if our Democrat nominee doesn't get, or if our candidate doesn't get the nominee. And so now we're looking at two actual nominees between two different parties that are very different, especially with the progressive left ripping the Democrat Party as far left as they can, and the Republican Party starting to be drifted left as well, but still having a very strong Trump base that disagrees with almost every single thing the so-called progressives are fighting for. We're going to see the hardest clash we have ever seen. And I've been seeing this movement that is like turn election day into election week, turn election week into election month. Election month? What do you mean? Because mail-in votes have an extremely long delay. And so 2 weeks after Election Day, when they say, oh, Trump is the declared winner, suddenly we have 30 million extra votes that came in for Joe Biden. Oh my God, it's a landslide election. All 50 states went to Joe Biden. And then every single Republican is like, all right, where's the musket? We're going to war. It's over. And honestly, that's yeah, go ahead.
That's what's going to happen. Like I hate to say it. And then if that happens in the other direction, we're going to see the post George Floyd riots like on steroids again. I mean, that's what's going to happen. If you cannot get a decisive winner where people are convinced of the results, you're going to have severe problems in this country. It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just what's going to happen. We have the Democratic National Convention that will be starting in about 10 minutes. The live stream for them just started. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I have it set up this way. So we have it right here. It's going to be tuning in very soon. I'm going to put that back up on screen once it starts, but just to let you guys know, to remind you, we've been streaming for about just a little over 30 minutes, about 35 minutes. The Democratic National Convention will start at 9, as you can see right here. It will end around 11, although who knows how far over they'll go to that since they don't really hold themselves to schedules. Not very responsible about that, but we will be streaming for as long as we can. Unless we both fall asleep, then somebody will hopefully end the stream for us. I pray we don't fall asleep, though. We're going to try to keep you guys as entertained as we can. We're going to try to keep ourselves as entertained as we can. You have to remember our little video game we play, where we play one of these little clips every time they say a name. So for Trump,
Billions.
for Biden,
Go, you know the thing.
and for Kamala Harris. So every single time one of those happens, we're going to bring it up. I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who's been sticking with us before the stream, or I should say before the Democratic National Convention begins. We have a little prelude here to just discuss some things, air some things out, discuss everything that happens before. But once the stream starts, that's when the fun hopefully starts. We have the caps in the chat. We have the clown emojis. We have the chat that is just as reactive as possible. If you're streaming and you aren't involved in the chat, you're missing out. So definitely make sure you at least have it open, see what the chat has to say. And if you haven't already, make sure you're participating in the chat. And also if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and share to all your social media.
Yeah, make sure you hit that like button.
But somebody's asking in the chat, who is Billie Eilish anyway? Is she performing tonight?
I guess she is. Unfortunately, we won't be able to play for copyright reasons, probably.
Yeah,
but
if she starts, I'm gonna pause it or I'm gonna mute the audio. I'm just gonna stream MAGA season.
No, you have to sing Billie Eilish yourself. That's what the viewers want. The viewers want you to.
I don't know the lyrics. I don't know the lyrics.
I don't know them either. That's why I'm making you do it. Okay, that's what we want. That's what the viewers want to see. The viewers want to see you sing a teenage pop song. All right. Put in the chat right now if you want to hear Chandler sing a Billie Eilish song.
Don't do
this.
Okay,
let us know.
My singing days are long gone. I can't do that. Oh god, they're pulling it. Oh, I'm watching the chat. The chat's about to explode. I'm waiting for it because there's a little chat delay, so it takes a second. I say caps in the chat, and they pop up. Oh boy, now Ellie Ray says sing. Some other people. William Eyelash. I'm done. Oh goodness, look what you started. Look what you started, Vince. They're begging for it. No, I can't provide that to them though. What I will be able to provide, however, is a live Bryson Gray MAGA season. You guys are gonna hear it. Come on. Democrats commit to season, MAGA season, committing treason, I should say. But yes, Billie Eilish, is she performing tonight? I forgot your answer. She is?
I'm not sure, but Ben Shapiro says he really wants you to sing.
Chandler, Ben Shapiro. Wait, where'd it go? I'm doing an impression. Bring the comment back. Chandler, Ben Shapiro have spoken. Sing it. Is that good? I don't know. I don't listen to him often.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Ben Shapiro have spoken. Sing it. You're the entertainment, Chandler. You have to. Hip Hop Thinker says play MAGA Steppin'. Hip Hop Thinker is my guy. He's been there since the beginning. Everybody's saying sing, but I'm gonna just play MAGA Steppin'. If Chandler doesn't sing, that's voter fraud. Cap.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you heard it. You heard the people.
I'm gonna call fat cap on that one. Throw your caps in the chat, folks. The first fat cap of the evening. I can't speak today. But yeah, the first fat cap of the evening. We have to wait a second, and then you're just gonna see it flood the chat.
Here's a game.
Say MAGA Steppin'. Go ahead.
Here's a game we should play. Will Democrats actually explain it all tonight? How exactly, one thing they're gonna do to actually make your life better, improve your life? The entire convention theme has just been about A, why Orange Man bad, but B, also why Joe Biden nice man and nice guy. That's it. That's their entire they have not actually given a single freaking thing they're going to do. So that's a question. I think that's a question Americans should really be asking themselves. Taking away from what you've just seen, how exactly is voting for a Democrat going to make my life better? How are they going to improve my life? have not answered that question. They really
Yeah.
just have not answered.
Like you could pan to just the average sorry, these comments are cracking me up. The average Democrat, and you could say, all right, why aren't you voting for Trump? And they could wave their arms and scream for about 15 minutes. So why are you voting for Biden? He's a nice guy.
That's it.
Do you have anything else? Well, he's better than Trump. That's all they have. Everybody in the chat is begging me to sing. I'm telling you guys, you do not want to hear that. My singing days just aren't around.
People do want to hear that. I'm telling you, people do want to hear that.
I could sing some Bryson Gray to y'all. I could rap some Bryson for y'all. Or I can play it, which is the much better option. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. I appreciate you guys 100%. We have some amazing people in the chat, like Ben Shapiro once again. Ben Shapiro greater than Andrew Clavin. Andrew Clavin doesn't watch Vince.
It's Clavin.
I don't know who he is.
Culture.
Andrew Clavin. Andrew Clavin. I have not watched Andrew Clavin before, but I guess I'll have to check him out.
He's a Daily Wire host. He's like him and Michael Knowles are basically the same person, but Michael Knowles is young and Clavin is old. That's basically the only difference between them.
Listen, you know, I'm an old soul, okay, Brandon Gray. I'm an old soul. That's what I almost said Democrats. That's what adults have been calling me since I was like 10. I'm an old soul, all right.
Oh, they've been calling that with me since I was 5. I had my kindergarten teacher tell me I was an old. I don't even remember why, but she did say that. She said I was an old show when I was 5.
Now that you made it a competition, I've been being told that since I was in pre-K, and I can remember pre-K. So you know what? Step up. Come on. What you got? They've been calling you an old soul since you were a fetus.
Yeah, basically. I came out and I had white hair already. That's what's going on.
What are you, Benjamin Button? Get out of here.
Yeah.
We have some questions, actually. Drop some questions in the chat. We might not get to all of them, but that'll help us actually get to them. We have 4 minutes left, so make them quick. He says, favorite conservative speaker. How about you, Vince?
He doesn't have that many speeches, but I gotta say Tucker Carlson, because the few speeches I've seen him make, he doesn't even. It's like it's miraculous. Like he doesn't even have notes or a speech ready or anything. He just gets up there and talks, and it is just like mesmerizing. It's just like so comforting to listen to. So I gotta say him.
If I aspire to be as good of a speaker as him one day, or as plenty of other people, my answer, of course, it shifts a lot, but usually it's Candace Owens. She's just amazing, honestly. She's who inspired me to even start doing any of this. Without going to a YBLS a couple of years ago, I probably would not be right here today, and I don't know what Vince would be doing. Probably not live streaming with me, probably live streaming with Joe Bazwari or something else, live streaming with some other person if he was still in the game. Who knows? But thank you for the question. And favorite... Let's see here. What else? Favorite book? If you have an answer, we have 3 minutes to make it quick.
Right there.
I love that one. And then just quickly flip through it for us.
It's a
300 blank pages.
Insightful read.
I bet it's your favorite book for a reason, huh, Vince?
Yeah, it's insightful. There's just a lot of analysis here.
Not much of a reader, I understand.
Really intellectual. I mean, there's a lot of good information in this book.
Yeah, I'd have to say my favorite book. I haven't even read it yet, but I already think it's going to be my favorite. It's probably going to be Blackout by Candace Owens as well. You can call me a fan, but I think she's a friend. Somebody says they really like the Officer Tatum as well in the chat. Shout out to Brandon Tatum. He does an amazing live stream that just absolutely kicks tail in terms of views. Everybody gets up there. It's a fantastic conversation. The Democratic National Convention will start in a matter of seconds. So get your final questions in if we can answer them real quick. Throw them up there. Actually, I think it's too late. Sorry. Hold on, let me unmute it for you guys real quick.
I think this is just procedural. They don't really.
Good evening, folks. I'm Tony Evers, and I'm incredibly proud to be the 46th governor of the great state of Wisconsin.
You guys can hear it all right.
We were really looking forward to having you here in America's Dairyland. Unfortunately, the pandemic means we can't do that this year. But what unites us is far, far greater than what divides us. So even though we can't be with each other, I know we have a shared sense of purpose. That is to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This November is about returning kindness, respect, empathy,
it's already starting.
And civility back to the White House. And that's who Joe and Kamala are.
Oh boy.
Go, you know the thing.
Especially during challenging times like these.
It's going to be tough.
The problems we face can only be solved by all of us together. Holy mackerel, folks. Let's get to work.
I thought no malarkey was bad. Holy mackerel. Come on, man. Uh-oh. See, that's what I gotta watch out for. They play those things.
This election is bigger than politics. Oh my God.
Lifelong Republican.
I'm a lifelong Republican.
This is exactly what we were just talking about.
Oh yes, the furthest left furthest left candidate
I have voted
in
for
history.
and campaigned
Yo, these
for
are the kinds of
Republicans
Republicans that
since
voted for
Reagan, but I
Obama
won't
to not
voting
be
for Donald
racist.
Trump in November.
I'm supporting Joe Biden for president.
We need a positive leader, someone who can work.
She was
with
never a
both
Republican.
sides,
She's not a. You can look at her. She's not.
Republicans
She,
and the
they ain't no
Democrats.
Republican.
I don't
Kanye's
think we
back
can
out of
deal
his
with
coma.
the type of person we have in the White House any longer.
Vote America. That's the only way to get out of this.
Did they say Trump?
Billions. Just the person.
Hey,
who-
Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
Normal.
Joe Biden is a decent
I
man
got hairy
with a long
legs.
history of public service to America.
Say
He will
it.
restore order and integrity to the executive branch.
I would strongly encourage all of us to come together.
And hopefully return our country's political discourse back to some measure of normalcy and decency.
Oh, they've already played this
Sure.
one now that I think about it.
Dead.
Absolutely
They
sure
want you
he's going to
dead.
help us
Yeah.
bring this
Oh,
country
man.
together once again.
Nope. I swear, I'm starting to get tired of that stupid song.
What even is that song? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that song. Oh, again? Oh no, that's just their intro music. Probably not copyright. Is it a little loud for you guys, or is it fine? Vince, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, is it?
Okay. It's just okay. It's all right.
To the flag, yeah. Joe with the rainbow flag. That's hilarious.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation,
One nation,
under God,
indivisible.
with liberty and justice for all.
Oh,
Hey,
she's going
everybody,
first.
It's me,
I
Kamala.
figured she was going
hey.
last.
Before I go
Hold on,
on
hold on,
stage
hold on.
later
Oh.
tonight, I want to talk about the importance of voting. I know many of you plan to vote this year,
She's
but
behind
amidst
some
the
boxes.
excitement and enthusiasm for this election,
This is
we've
professional.
also heard about
I guess she's back there to
obstacles and
earn her next
misinformation, and
standing.
folks making it harder for you to cast your ballot.
That's Joe Biden's
So
basement.
I
She's
think
right there.
we need to ask ourselves, why
Joe Biden
don't
pops up
they
for the
want
box.
us to vote? Why is there so much effort to silence our voices?
You gotta
And
be
the
joking.
answer is because when we vote, things change. When
Cap.
we
Uh-huh.
vote, things
Uh-huh.
get better.
Cap.
When we
Double cap.
vote, we address the need for all people to be treated with dignity.
You already know what it
and
is, folks.
respect
Get them
in
caps
our
in the
country.
chat.
So each of us needs a plan, a voting plan. Joe and I want to make sure you're prepared.
Go, you
If
know
you
the
text
thing.
vote to 30330,
30330.
we'll come up with your plan. And remember deadlines and get ready to vote in your
Caps in the
community.
chat.
So send that text and encourage your family and friends to send
Good
one
message.
too. Now let's enjoy another
go.
night of inspiration from around our country. I'll see you a little later tonight. And until then, I turn it over to my dear friend and tonight's moderator, Carrie Washington.
Moderator. Oh. She's from
Welcome to night
Mixed
3
Dish,
of the
I think.
Democratic National Convention.
No, I might be
I'm
mixing up my
honored
people.
to be joining you as we continue to celebrate
I'm
this
mixing her up. I'm sorry about that.
unconventional convention. We're going to be hearing a lot more from Senator Harris later, I promise. But first, when I was in 7th or 8th grade, we memorized the preamble of the Constitution, and I've never forgotten it. The first 15 words of our Constitution are, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." We say more perfect because our union is not without flaws. When our Constitution was written,
Wonder what
women
those flaws
couldn't
are.
vote. Black people were considered 3/5 of a human being, but therein lies the work. No one is perfect. Nothing is, but it is the striving
This is-
for
this is
justice,
foul.
equality, and truth that distinguishes us. We fight for a more perfect union because we are fighting for the soul of this country and for our lives. And right now, that fight is real.
Real.
Tonight, we are going to hear from so many phenomenal women who are working to help us build that more perfect union. Speaker Nancy Pelosi,
Oh.
Secretary Hillary
Oh,
Clinton,
she's on
Ready?
tonight. too?
Senator Elizabeth Warren, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Ooh, oh.
We're going to see an incredible performance from Jennifer Hudson and a world
So yeah,
premiere
they're bringing
performance from Billie Eilish.
Yeah, they're bringing all the
We'll meet
women
so
together to
many
promote
of the
Kamala Harris. That's
activists and
what tonight
organizers
is.
working to build a more equal, more just future. And we're going to hear from our 44th president, Barack Obama.
Delicious.
Barack America.
This is going to be an
Come on, man.
unforgettable night
Oh, bummer.
filled with important voices. But the most important voice we hope to hear from tonight is the one we need to hear from most. It's yours. Because if we are going to repair the damage that has been done, if we are going to finally realize the dream, we, the people, have to get involved. Each and every one of us is the we. You are
Yep, she's
the
premiering
we.
something new.
It's going to be your voice, your service, your action that helps us create that more
Ben Shapiro and
perfect
Kanye
union.
West are having a chat in the comments, and it's
Tonight, we're gonna
hilarious.
talk about where we are and where we're going.
What's going
on so many issues important to our future. 90% of Americans support common sense gun laws because we need
Tell me
to
what
do
common
more
sense
to
gun
address
laws
the
means.
epidemic of gun violence.
Oh,
Let's start
there's a lot of guns out there having violence.
This is out of touch. After all the riots and the huge increase in crime in America,
by everyday gun violence have to walk by the
these
street
people are,
corner where their best friend,
her,
their brother,
not
their
her.
mother, their nephew, where they
Oh,
themselves
God.
were shot.
Wait, who is
And
it?
life goes
It's
on
Emma
and on.
Gonzalez.
We all haven't just watched a loved one die and get put in the grave.
My question stands.
The whole point
she's
of what I'm saying here, until one of
her
us
and
or
David
all of us
Hogg
stand
were
up
like
and
the
say,
main
I
activists
can't
out
do
of
this
okay,
anymore.
her.
I can't sit
Yeah.
by and watch the news.
Sorry, there's
treat
this little
these
thing to the
shootings like
side that I
acts
can't
of
get rid
God.
of.
Gun violence isn't
annoying.
just going to stop until there's a force.
This is
fighting
so
harder against it,
disingenuous.
and I'm going to do
That's for
something.
sure.
I can't stand how they basically blame you for mass
yeah.
shootings.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't support gun control, it means you like kids dying.
I'm gonna mute it because the audio is kind of going off.
Even though most of these mass shootings happen in places
March
where
for Our Lives.
they're not even allowed to have guns. This is a completely out of touch though. Gun sales in America are on an insane increase. I think record sales the last few months between coronavirus and especially the riots and the huge increase in crime. You need to be telling people we're gonna own guns, for God's sake.
That us kids don't know what we're talking about, that we're too young to understand how the government works. We call BS.
She's on the border of tears while she's talking about this. It just goes to show you how emotionally charged it becomes, and you simply sometimes just can't even see the logic in it once you get to this stage.
There is no logic. There's absolutely no logic in it.
Nope. Good try.
Long before this pandemic, our country has been suffering from the epidemic of gun violence.
It's funny, Lori Lightfoot.
Is gun violence or racism a public health crisis? I don't know which one.
Beloved fiance, my son Jerry, at the Pulse shooting in Orlando. 7 years later, it would be my son. I know exactly the pain, the toll, the heartbreak of gun violence.
So you guys are like against Islamophobia or anything like that. You guys are really supportive of Islam, but yet when you have radical Islamists that shoot up this Pulse nightclub and kill gay people,
be responsible for keeping themselves
it's about the gun and not the person.
That's the job of the government.
Who was radicalized by ISIS. It's about the gun, not the person who got that gun illegally.
It's funny. Lori Lightfoot has blamed the gun violence, huge increase in Chicago, it's freaking out of control there, on the lack of gun control in states like freaking Mississippi. She's blaming her city's increase in gun violence on Mississippi because you can easily buy guns in Mississippi.
I'm tired of it. Also,
you know the thing. And now, mother and activist Deandra Dykes.
In a split second, a stray bullet shattered my family's life. My son DeAndre was only 13 years old. He was recognized as a gifted and talented student. Possibilities were endless. He was dancing at a birthday party when he was shot in the back left side of his head, shattering his skull. One shot changed our lives forever. Today, my Dre does not talk. He does not walk. I know he knows me by the smile he shows when I walk in his room. But I'm unsure.
What does this have to do with ordinary people owning guns?
Yeah,
Since
because we use
March,
freak
I've
cases
only
about
been able to see my
celebratory
son 3
gunfire or
times.
random
I
gunfire
can't
to
touch
justify gun
or
control.
hug him
Makes a lot
due
of
to
sense to me.
COVID-19. People tell me that I'm
What?
lucky. I tell them we are blessed. I remind them that my
Oh,
son is in a
man.
wheelchair and unable to feed himself.
They're insulting her teeth
I
in the
don't think
chat.
DeAndre feels lucky when he has to be bathed from head to toe or gets injections for muscle contractions. I am in a space of gratitude. Yes,
They're
I can
nasty.
touch DeAndre. I can hold his hand.
In the chat.
But the child that I birthed is not able to live his dreams. And that hurts. Every day we're reminded that he may never be the same.
So how exactly is
not alone.
defunding police supposed
In every
to
town across America,
decrease
there are
this type of
families who
stuff?
know what a bullet can
Is this
do.
about defunding
why
police? I
my
thought this was about
mom
gun control.
No, it is about gun control, but their damn logic doesn't make any sense.
He doesn't care.
You take away the police, you take away the guns, and suddenly, magically, society's going to be okay.
Hey, that's what we expect from them, am I right?
Yep, we
I
expect
want a
stupidity.
president who cares about our pain and grief.
I got
A
hairy
president
legs.
Who will take on the gun lobby to ban assault weapons and close the loopholes to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Joe Biden has taken on the NRA twice and won.
They can't
And
even
he
define
will
assault
do it
weapons. It's just
again.
guns
They
that look
really
scary
can't.
to them.
Every gun is capable of assault.
Too many parents
I'm still yet to
I'm
meet
literally
one person
who've lost
who
their
can
children
actually
to gun
define to
violence.
me what an assault weapon is when they say they want to ban assault weapons.
They say AR-15s or something, and I
Looked in
tell
the
them that
eyes of brave young
that an
people,
AR-15 is just a
survived
bigger
school
pistol that has the same stopping power and
I
ability
made
as a
each of them a
pistol. Sometimes
promise.
shoots the same rounds.
I made myself a promise.
They just shrug after that. They say it stands for
promised
assault
them,
rifle. No, it stands for Armalite,
I
but
promise all of you.
whatever.
No, but it's like the first thing they say is, oh, it's the bullet. They use these really deadly bullets. But the biggest ARs use 5.56 or they use 5.56. Whereas you have guns like the M1 that shoot a damn 30-06 that is a huge round, way bigger. But that doesn't look scary, so they're not trying to ban that. And then they say, oh, it's the rate of fire. Well, every semi-automatic weapon basically fires at the same rate. One bullet. You fire one shot, you get one bullet. So they don't know what the hell they're talking. They don't know what it is. They cannot define what an assault weapon is.
When tragedy strikes,
Because fully automatic weapons have been illegal since the 80s.
aren't alone. Join us in this fight. We seek strength to keep fighting, to keep moving forward. We turn to leaders who share.
Why don't they ever talk about the lives that have been saved, especially women's lives or LGBT lives or black lives or Latino lives or all the other lives they actually so-called claim to care about that have been saved tremendously by the use of somebody who is good, who used the gun to defend another person.
We are a nation.
You have so many Democrat-run cities in this country where now, if you following all that's happened, if you call the police, if someone's breaking into your house, they won't even show up, and then you can't even have a freaking gun to defend yourself from that.
I've known the darkest of days,
It's ridiculous.
days of pain and uncertain recovery. But confronted by despair, I've summoned hope. Confronted by paralysis and aphasia, I responded with grit and determination. I put one foot in front of the other. I found one word and then I found another. My recovery is a daily fight, but fighting makes me stronger.
Dang it.
Words once came.
Republicans need to do this. We need to make just make ours more freaking emotional as well.
My voice.
Yeah.
America needs all of us to speak out, even when you have to fight to find the words. We are at a crossroads. We can let the shooting continue, or we can act. We can protect our families, our future. We can vote. We can be on the right side of history.
Right side of history.
We must.
Yeah, here we go. The virtue signaling.
Go, you know the thing. He'll be there for you.
They say they want to be on the right side of history, but when we look back at history, every single tragedy of this nation has been directly responsible from Democrats.
Thank you very much.
You don't care about dead kids unless you vote for Joe Biden. Of course.
Tonight,
what else is new?
We're going to hear from
Only
many
Joe Biden would sniff a
changemakers
child
who are
corpse.
using their powers for good, who are working to confront the other epidemics we're facing: COVID-19, structural racism, police violence against Black bodies, violence against members of the trans community, We are facing so many challenges. To meet these challenges, we will need systematic solutions. We need leaders who can see us, hear us, represent us, all of us. To Joe Biden, nothing is more important than taking
I got
the
hairy
time
legs.
to make sure that people are seen, heard,
Just trying to time it right.
and believed in.
He cares about nothing more than his hairy legs.
And I remember I called my grandmother and I said, Joe Biden's walking by. And she goes, oh my God, put him on.
I got hairy legs.
Like, no, like, don't take the call. What are you doing? And he points to his staffer and he goes, like, go that way. And he sent his staffer away.
How could I not be endeared to him instantly? He talked to me for the next half hour.
Ooh.
I see Dana Bash from CNN there. And she says, like, Senator Biden will be on in like 5. And he sends her away.
He asked me about my sons. He asked me about what I did. All I know is it was all about me.
Oh my God, he's such a wonderful man. Like he's the nicest guy ever.
He's such a nice guy, you know? He held the door open for me one day. I'm gonna vote for him.
Unbelievable.
I must interject one thing. At the very end of his chat with me, he said, could you do me a favor? I said, sure, what is it? He said, tell me how I can get your grandson's hair. He would.
Is that supposed to make me vote for him? Because he can make lame jokes?
And here it is all these years later. And
hey, it's Amy, the appeal of Amy Klobuchar.
You know, as
oh,
much as
shoot.
I feel like I got to know
She's
him
Amy Klobuchar in 25 years.
I know Joe because he listens.
Oh, no.
And whether he's heard your story,
Joe with kids is not a good look, ever.
He cares about everyone's story.
He'll care more about you than he'll care about himself.
Cat. He won't remember either,
What a
y'all.
beautiful story.
Including himself.
Okay, now let's talk about another important issue, the climate crisis. This is an issue that has been on Joe Biden's mind for decades. In 1986, while working as a senator, Joe Biden introduced one of the first climate bills in Congress. And he's continued.
Who's next? Greta Thunberg?
She should be a surprise speaker.
We're gonna have more kids shame people into voting for Democrats.
That's the normal. Nope. I don't trust that. I don't trust that song. It's gonna get us.
That we need to fight and we need to win to secure our future in this country. But there's one issue.
Isn't that guy a TikToker?
All of us, and that is climate
He looks kind of
change.
familiar.
Yeah, he's that one guy on TikTok.
It is the most pressing issue of our time, and it deserves to be treated as such. We no longer have any time to wait.
Our generation will bear the burden of past mistakes, but we stand to benefit most from changing course now.
We know that in a couple of years, it will be too late. We need to change the paradigm, and that happens here with us.
We should invest massively in wind, solar, geothermal, green infrastructure.
That's not even enough to keep your house lights on.
Yeah, speaking of that, right now in California, we have rolling blackouts. And the reason actually is because there's not enough energy due to the fact that ever since we got off a lot of our fossil nuclear fuel, we genuinely don't have enough power because the renewable is not sustainable.
Yeah, what about nuclear energy? Another clean option that can produce enough energy to keep our cities lit. What about that?
And it produces virtually, like the waste it produces emissions wise is virtually non-existent.
Yep.
And yet they don't like
Unacceptable.
Good evening,
You got to go with the wind and solar crap that barely works.
Great state of Nuevo
Because it's
Mexico.
about politics. It's not really
I'm
about
proud
climate.
of
It's
my
about
home
politics.
state every single day, especially how we have punched above our weight in our successful response to COVID-19. I'm proud of New Mexicans from Taos to Truth or Consequences who have stepped up and sacrificed in so many incredible ways this past half year. And I'm proud how we embrace our multicultural identity as our greatest strength. And I'm proud that New Mexico has shown what climate leadership looks like. While the Trump administration has been eliminating environmental protections, we've expanded them. While they've been rolling back regulations on oil and gas, we've taken on polluters and held them accountable. We've committed to a renewable energy future with exciting and fulfilling careers for workers all across our beautiful state, including right here in the heart of northern New Mexico. We're laying a roadmap here for what America can and should look like in the 21st century. An America where we lead again, where we build safer, cleaner, and more affordable cities and communities, where we provide meaningful opportunities for workers and families to thrive and build better lives. As
Oh, I tuned her
president,
out.
Joe Biden will
Wow.
rejoin the International Climate Agreement, and the United States
No.
will once again lead on this critical issue.
We led when we were
At home,
outside of the
he'll
Accords
invest
more
in
than
energy
in.
workers, and he will deliver for working families across the U.S., helping them build meaningful careers while accelerating our nation and world into a clean, green 21st century and well beyond. We know time is running out to save our planet. We have the chance this November to end two existential crises: the Trump presidency and the environmental annihilation he
Existential?
represents.
Isn't that a
We
little
have the chance this November to attack the
hyperbolic?
climate crisis, invest in green 21st century jobs, and embrace the clean energy revolution our country, our young people are crying out for, and the leadership the rest of the world is waiting for. The choice is clear. The choice is Joe Biden. Thank you, America.
This guy?
Go, you know the thing.
What's
This
going to
you?
happen if Biden takes office? If Biden takes office, he's going to regulate the crap out of fossil fuels here in America. But the renewable, they're going to find is not efficient, not going to work, and we're simply going to be reliant on Saudi oil again. That's what's going to happen.
Barack Obama destroyed NASA. Why are you showing space videos?
They're going to kill American energy.
Was profound. The world looked beautiful, tiny, fragile. Our atmosphere is all that separates us from oblivion. We now call what they experienced the overview effect.
Here in Detroit, our communities for such a long time have faced the burden of pollution. And I think addressing climate change gives us an opportunity to correct some of those wrongs and to also invest in our vulnerable communities.
Maybe you've read some of the millions of pages of scientific evidence on climate change.
Storm, sir.
Or maybe you felt it as you walked the neighborhood.
Oh my God, the truck is sinking.
For most people,
Weather
it's
is climate
overwhelming.
change, apparently.
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
I had spent 5 years working on this report. The Trump administration started to remove any mention that humans were the cause of climate change from it.
I wrote my resignation letter.
Do we really think we're a powerful enough race to destroy this planet without even like trying?
The Trump administration has gone all out, not just to neglect climate change issues and laws, but to reverse them.
We have about
Because they were destroying the economy, which is going to do more harm than anything about the climate.
I'm a kid, and I'm going to say to all those adults who are watching this right now, why don't you get up and do something?
Some of the first climate change legislation ever written.
They can probably place Fortnite religiously now.
When Donald Trump thinks about climate change, the only word he can muster is hoax.
America faces a challenge, but if we face it together,
I'm getting a lot more billions tonight.
And build back better.
When I think about climate change, the word I think of is
I got hairy legs.
That's Joe's plan. Create millions of new good-paying jobs. Many of them.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you said.
That was weird.
Structure. Upgrade millions of buildings. Invest in micro-mobility and precision agriculture.
It sounds like a utopia, doesn't it?
That achieves
Look, I would love for clean energy to work, but
because we can't
we have rolling blackouts in California.
Investing in the technology.
And it's California. They have wind farms and solar farms all over, and it's still not enough.
40% of the investment will go.
That's just sad.
Communities.
We know how to do this.
The reason we got out of the climate accords is because your Democrat utopia about jobs and everything else coming from the sun and the wind just didn't work well enough.
Joe won't ignore the crisis. We're seeing what happens.
Oh, look at him in his little muzzle. Get out of here.
Fight. Joe's America will lead the world on.
I got hairy legs.
We'll lead the world on hairy legs? Oh no.
And America will lead the world again on climate.
We already do. We had the most carbon emission reduction of any country in the world.
I was 13 when the Camp Fire, the most destructive wildfire in California's history, broke out. We were visiting family nearly 100 miles away, but my asthma flared badly. I could hardly breathe. I'm Alexandra Villasenor, and I've been organizing young people around climate change since 2018.
Okay,
You
here
see,
comes
this is what Democrats do amazingly.
Robbing my
here come
generation
the mental gymnastics where the
for young
wildfires
people my
are
age,
all the result of
every
climate change.
aspect of our lives.
You know,
So where we go to school,
actually, the reason why the wildfires have been so bad recently is because we came out of our drought, and so there's more brush grew back. Okay, so we had more rain, which California was in a drought for a while. We got more rain, and that's when we had our worst wildfires because the brush actually started growing back.
my generation can have a fighting chance.
Ronald Reagan in the chat. But this is what I was about to say. This is what Democrats do so well, is that they support and they fund young liberal Democrats at every single turn they can. And when you have young people out there, you start to feel a little bit of sympathy for them, and you want to say, well, maybe let's give these kids a listen. The right just doesn't do that well.
Us farmers can see the effects of climate change happening right in front of us.
Donald Trump caused the wildfires.
Part.
Donald Trump gave me an asthma attack.
Solutions on my family's farm, switching to a community model, using less land and reusing our resources to grow our food. We are eliminating tons of carbon pollution every year by mimicking natural ecosystems. Farmers can be part of the climate solution instead of a problem. Today, we all can grow our own future, but we need our leaders to be part of the solution as well.
Shout out to Z Commander in the chat.
We need them to commit to the science, not ignore it. We need them to put real plans on the table rather than roll them back. That's what Joe Biden is doing with his clean energy revolution. Instead of being left behind, we could lead the world again.
I don't get why these people are saying we aren't leading the world when we've done the most for the climate while not even really trying to.
And the one question that I get asked over and over again is, what are you doing here? Not a lot of climate activists look like me. My name is Catherine Lorenzo. I'm an
Oh, here we go. Not a lot of climate activists look like me. Actually, remember there was an article after the youth climate strike that was saying it was too white. There weren't enough minorities involved in the youth climate strike, and they were complaining about this crap.
Better health and a
Here we go. Here we go again. We can fight climate change, but only if it's intersectional. Only if we have enough racial diversity in the march. That's when we can fight climate change.
I got hairy legs.
The planet isn't just a challenge to overcome. It's an opportunity for a better way of life.
So what's it going to be, America?
Are you ready to vote for Joe Biden?
Go, you know the thing.
Crisis? Because our futures depend on it.
Good reverb.
Like the folks we just heard from, next up is another activist and environmentalist, not to mention an immensely talented artist.
Oh.
She worked to ensure that her most recent concert tour was green and sustainable.
Shout out to Z Commander for the
$5
super chat.
I
think Billie Eilish. Yeah, I think Billie Eilish
created.
Before she herself was old enough to vote, she held
So
registration drives before her shows, signing up thousands of voters.
I'm gonna fire up the Bryson Gray machine.
In both her music and her activism, here to perform "My Future" publicly for the first time.
Dang it,
Billie Eilish.
All right, and we're muting it. All right, which song are we playing? We playing Mega Steppin'? Oh wait, she's not singing yet.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about.
Billie Eilish's streams after this.
Solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake.
Also,
someone who's building a team that shares our values. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
This is not an option.
Notice how she said that.
Sit this one out. We all have to vote like our lives and the world depend on it, because they do. The only way to be certain of the future is to make it ourselves. Please register. Please vote.
Oh, looks like it's over. Oh, finally. All right.
Thank you.
And we're back.
Okay, now we're going to talk about.
You want some more Bryson Gray? Keep looking them up. Somebody said the alien is better. Get out of here, Sean. Alien's all right. Alien's okay.
On my father's side, I am descended from African Americans who came from slave ships that landed in South Carolina.
Oh, come on.
And who were part of the Great Migration North.
Really?
That has played such a defining role in who we are as a nation. On my mother's side, my grandparents came here as immigrants, part of a rich history that has also defined America. They immigrated to this country from the West Indies through Ellis Island in the 1920s. I often think about how my grandmother must have felt when she first saw the Statue of Liberty in her raised torch. My family's story is not unique.
I can't wait to find out how this is about why you need to vote for Joe Biden.
From somewhere else. whether it was 5 years ago or 200 years ago.
Watch, the
whether
virtue
it's
signaling is about to start in
or
about
by
like 3
bondage.
seconds. Now you're really gonna
Etched
hear
into
it.
the DNA of who we are
Did
as
it
a
ever stop?
nation is the very idea that though you may be from somewhere else, you can find your home here. But that
Watch.
idea is in danger.
Yep, there we go.
Now,
Yeah,
more
I
than
told
ever before.
you. That's where it was gonna go.
Tell me when I should start reading. Dear Donald Trump.
Oh my, they got
My name is
children.
Stella. I am 11 years old.
Uh-huh.
Wait.
My mom is my best friend.
So I thought this was about like slavery or something, but now it's about
She came to
immigration.
America as a teenager over 20 years ago without
here we
papers
go.
in search of a better life. She married my dad, who served our country as a Marine in South America.
They literally have 11-year-olds
after the
running the
era.
show.
My mom worked hard and paid taxes, and the Obama administration told her she could stay. My dad thought you would
Look
protect
how that
military
helped.
families, so he voted for you in 2016, Mr. President.
So it's double. It's a
Says
double
he won't vote
whammy.
for
Double
you again
former
after what you did
Trump
to our
supporter
family.
and Hispanic.
Wife of a U.S. Marine veteran was deported to Mexico.
Instead of protecting us, you tore our world apart.
My mom is a good person, and she's not a criminal.
Now, my mom is gone, and she's been taken from us for no reason at all. Every day that
No, there's a
passes,
reason.
for more moms and dads and take them away from kids like me.
We will begin moving them out day one.
You separated thousands of children from their parents.
So-called
and put them in
parents.
cages.
They could literally be owners rather than parents, but whatever.
Some of those kids are now orphans because of you.
These are our people. I don't want them in our country. They're animals.
You notice how they had to clip together 3 different clips of that? He was talking about MS-13. That's so disingenuous and oh my
The
god.
mother of 2 American children.
We don't get a
Democrats
misinformation flag.
literally think normal illegal immigrants and MS-13 are the same thing. They're both criminals, but MS-13 behead people. Okay?
Sincerely, Estella.
Listen, Estella, I understand. And I understand what you're going
Lucy
through,
Sanchez,
but
and this is my mother, Sylvia. and
this is
sister
not the
Jessica.
same thing whatsoever.
We're like all families. We work hard to build a good life.
They literally stitched that sentence together from 3 different speeches at 3 different dates in 3 different locations to make it sound like Trump called all Hispanic immigrants animals. This is the kind of fallacy they have to tell to get
I'm a
Democrat
US
voters
citizen,
to
but my
stay in
mother is
line.
undocumented.
And I am a dreamer. Yo hice lo que cualquier madre
Oh,
haría
and
para
that's not
salvar la vida de
Spanish.
su niña.
Yeah, let's go.
My mother did what any mother would do to save her baby's life.
Tomé a mi niña en brazos, viajamos a la frontera. Al llegar al río, la
Unless
levanté
it's
sobre el
too
agua y
inconvenient to have the
cruzamos.
baby, then
She
you
took my
murk it.
sister in her arms and traveled for days to reach the border. And when they got to the river, she lifted my sister above the water and crossed.
We came to America before I was 1 year old. She saved my life.
No podía esperar. Tenía que venir en ese momento en busca de un milagro.
My mother had no choice. There
Look
was
at you
no time
now.
to wait to save
So we couldn't wait, and now I guess that justifies an open borders immigration system
Hey.
because she couldn't wait.
The promise of America actually worked. Look at them. All 3 of them survived, and now they're in trouble because things catch up to you.
All I know.
We have to radically transform our immigration system because someone someone is having a hard time. So we have to change our entire immigration system.
We
That's the
work
basis
hard.
of what they're trying to say.
Our community and we pay our
We had a hard
taxes.
time
I've gone to school
in
and
another
felt like
country,
me and my
so you
brother.
guys have to totally change your immigration system.
These people that break into our country are also the same ones that have kids, and those kids get college age. They get $100,000 out for debt, $100,000 out for debt for the college, and then demand that people like you who watch the stream, who have a job and work for everything they have, pay for it, as well as their health care, as well as all the other things, as well as pre-K for their kids that they have at the age of 16 because they're not responsible enough to use protection on themselves. This is all the same connection right there. Irresponsibility and placing it all, displacing it all on all the other people because they have to pay for your own mistakes rather than yourself. You are entitled to nothing in this
It
nation
breaks our
except for
hearts
what
to
you
see
work
children
for,
separated from their family
aside from your rights imbued by
That's
your
wrong.
creator.
Those children need their parents. On November 3rd, I'm going to vote for my mother, my sister, and my daughters. I will vote for a future where all of our lives have dignity and respect.
We need a little.
Biden's administration deported more people than any administration in history.
I'm voting for Joe
Like
Biden.
they don't even. It's just it's so disingenuous.
I got hairy legs.
Estamos todos juntos. Envía la palabra.
Obama was known as the porter in chief.
330.
Jeez.
There's something about America.
America
We don't
is good because America is good.
We are born of immigrants. That is who we are.
This is from the Border in Chief right now.
Origin story.
Yeah. What was it, like 700,000 deportations?
Native American.
Something like that, yep.
All of our families come from someplace else.
The Native Americans also come from someplace else, dingus. You can call them Native Americans, but they came here thousands of years ago. Everyone's an immigrant.
Life in America was not always easy. There was discrimination and hardship and poverty.
Wasn't it a Democrat president who put the Japanese people in internment camps?
Yes.
Those who would come before them.
I don't understand. What's the point of this video? What are, I don't know, what are they even trying to say?
America, they might build
Something about. I couldn't tell you.
Children something.
What are they even trying? I don't know. What are they even trying to say? Like they don't.
Tension throughout our history between welcoming or rejecting the stranger. It's about more than just immigration. It's about the meaning of America. What kind of country do we want to be?
Not yours, that's for
Immigrants
sure.
are the teachers who
Same man who
inspire
said
our
that if you have a
children.
business, you
They're
didn't
the
build
doctors
that.
who keep us healthy.
You built your business from the ground up. But you didn't build that.
Who touch our hearts.
Your parents came to this nation as slaves.
Immigrants are
And the
soldiers,
3 generations
sailors,
later, you're worth
airmen,
millions.
Marines,
You didn't build
Coast
that.
Guards, who
What sense does any of that make? I thought you were supposed to be about hope. Hope you can believe in, or something like that. Wasn't that your slogan? But no, you didn't build that.
Revitalize and renew America.
Renew America.
It's not something to take for granted. It's something to cherish and to fight for.
It's infuriating.
God bless the United States of America.
I muted the audio because just straight audio without any talking on it.
That's the national motto that they actually tried to remove.
Oh, nope. And again, I love this song, but I can't have it playing.
What are they playing right now?
It's beautiful. Who is that guy?
He's got a bandana.
He looks like a cheap The Weeknd, but his voice is nice. Oh man. I'm sorry. This song is beautiful. Good choice.
All right, I gotta get my phone charger because the damn thing I forgot to bring it. It's on 1%. All right, I'll be right back while we sing. While this guy sings.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've heard this song many times before, but I've never seen the guy, so that's why I called him a cheap The Weeknd. I'm sorry. Latino superstar. Yeah. The song is beautiful. I have it off because we cannot do that copyright stuff, but this song is beautiful. Dice Puerto Ricana? Oh, no, I think I heard him wrong. You guys are saying he betrayed us. Dang, he did. Yo, you want to know what a big betrayal though? If they got Bad Bunny to perform at this, I swear. He's out there. Te caíta. That would kill me, honestly. They already got Billie Eilish. Now they have Prince Royce. They had Jay-Z and Beyonce a couple of years back, although not really surprising. Although Jay-Z had a song called Black Republican, so I don't know. Anyways. Oh, Ronald, get out of here. It's music. It's beautiful. If I could play it for you, you would agree. He's cheap now that he's voting for Biden. Listen, as much as I disagree with people for political reasons and their music, they align it with it. It's still beautiful music. I can't deny that. Is this the Grammys? Rip Vince. He's back. Yeah, he's back. He just had to do something real quick.
What's up, guys?
Oh, that's amazing. It's a pre-recorded live performance, but you know, it's more like a music video, really. But he's got the mic on him. They're gonna really play the whole thing. This is fake news. I expect better from you, Mr. President.
Yeah, come on, Ronald Reagan.
We literally said where my Latinos at. If only you guys could hear this. Yeah, he did. I can't even commentate It's beautiful.
It's
take it away.
It's just so stunning and brave and bold and stunning and brave and so empowering and groundbreaking and future making and all the ing words, of course.
Yeah, he just spat some Spanish too.
That was Prince Royce. Amazing. Shout out to the
Was
Boogie
beautiful.
Down Bronx.
The Boogie
In
Down
this
Bronx.
next piece, you'll
Stop.
hear about the vital role that women have
Yep.
played.
Yep. This is exactly what they do. They go Latino, woman, and then right after this, it's going to be LGBT. I'm waiting for it. I am calling
you'll
it.
hear from Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton, the woman who put over 65
Oh,
million.
I thought she was about to say 65 million people in jail for a second. That would have been funny. Yeah, I thought they were singing a song.
Got to understand.
Yep. Gotta mute it again. They just use so many songs. I cannot do it.
Oh my god.
Is this about Susan B. Anthony?
So Hillary's coming out now.
Oh my god.
The Pussy Hats are Hillary's intro video. That's interesting. The Women's March.
Dump Trump. That's not Hillary Clinton. What the heck? What is this?
Oh yes, we got to compare.
That's hilarious.
We got to compare the suffragists to the modern Women's March.
Vote by Zoom.
The most interesting. I went to the.
Proud of that.
I went to the Women's March this year. The most interesting thing I saw was someone just showed up there and they painted their body, but they were just naked. Like they just went to the Women's March and it was just a naked woman. And I guess that's how we empower.
Look at what they did to that poor 4-year-old. She's walking all mad and stuff. No justice, no peace. Are you serious? That kid should be in school, but instead they're marching on the streets.
But I guess that naked woman is to be compared to the woman suffragists of the 20s. That's
Oh, now it's about abortion.
Comparison. Yeah, here we go. I've seen that girl in so many pictures. That one they just had with the little thing on her head.
Abortion is not health care. Said get affordable health care. Get out of here.
She looks like a young Ginsburg. Oh, but there's Maxine Waters.
Oh, that was her speech when she was using that accent. This is the time. I'm reclaiming my time. I reclaim my time. Sorry, I had to unmute it so you guys can hear that for a second. It's just videos of women screaming and talking out of turn, being very upset.
It's funny because they totally.
Gillibrand is a failure.
They totally disgraced Sarah Palin when she became running mate.
She's not the kind of woman that they want.
Yeah. I mean, they'll say the most nasty things about females they disagree with, and then suddenly they say you can't say stuff like that about a female.
Families. They fight for fairness, inclusion, justice.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. Especially the most marginal.
The video promos seem decent tonight, although I'm not. I can't even hear them, so I can't.
The subtitles are super delayed. Give the victims of gender bias in the workplace the tools they need to seek justice. Women are the most.
What does that even see? That's just the ultimate throwing out of left-wing buzzwords. Like, what does that even mean? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it means. It's just you just put together all these leftist buzzwords like oppression, injustice, justice, gender. You put it all together in a sentence, and you have something that to a leftist will make some degree of sense. That's what they do.
This is honestly lazy. It's just videos of clips of women talking about what they consider women's issues, like equal pay. Oh, there she is. Megan Rapinoe. Yeah, aren't getting paid what they think they should be. They want to get paid more money for less work and less time spent working and less quality of work. That's not equal pay. SJW word salad. Perfect.
If it were right wingers that were spreading the gender pay gap myth, which is a myth, you would see fact checkers all over it, and they would just get shut down. But it's 2020. This was debunked by a Time magazine, I believe, in 2014, and they are still pushing the gender pay gap lie. That's not even true. It's like 6 years after this thing
Lightfoot.
has been mass debunked and discredited. They're still spreading it. Where's the misinformation labels? I'm so sick of this.
Jeez. Remember that time they used 13 songs in one video yesterday?
Oh, God. Here comes Hillary.
Oh, when they all dressed up in white like their ancestors did. Haha. Can't ever forget that. Oh, Joe Biden.
I got hairy legs.
Oh, no one wants to see that. Joe with kids is not a good combination. It just reminds people.
Go, you know the thing.
Yeah, that's all they can do.
One of them was a stock image. They got to
Yeah.
use the stock images, you know.
What does that have to do with women's issues? Some women knocking out another woman. I'm confused.
Hey, why are they using the color pink? That's sexist.
That is sexist. They should be using red. It's the most manly color possible. They should be using red to break gender,
here we go.
gender role. She looks younger. What the
She's
heck?
got her hair done. Yeah, she's got her hair done.
I said we owe Donald Trump an open mind and the chance to lead. I meant
Such a nasty woman.
Every president deserves that. And Trump came in with so much set up for him. A strong economy, plans for managing crises, including a pandemic. Yes, we Democrats would have disagreed with him on many things. But if he had put his own interests and ego aside,
You would still be here. You would still be here.
Way down in
from
money.
parents at the border or a protester
So-called
calling
parents.
for justice,
You don't have
or
a word to say
family
once you let them
wiped
pass
out
the
by
border
natural
and that kid
disaster.
gets raped
That would have been a good thing
by some
for
dude
America
because that
and the
parent
world.
sold that kid away.
I wish
This
Donald
stream
Trump
just got
knew how to
demonetized,
be a
but I'm
president.
sorry.
Because America needs a president right now. Throughout this time of crisis, Americans keep
It's
going,
disingenuous.
checking
They
on
lie about
neighbors,
every single thing.
showing
They
up
don't
to
care about
jobs as
anything.
first
They have no
responders,
morals.
hospitals,
They have no
grocery
standards. They
stores,
have no
nursing
empathy.
homes.
It's
Yes,
fake.
it still takes a village. And we need leaders equal to this moment of sacrifice and service. We need Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
I got hairy legs.
Everyone has a story about Joe's caring and empathy. I remember him calling after my mother, Dorothy, died.
Lock her
and
up.
we talked about being raised by strong women. The best testament to Joe is how he's cared for his family. And how great is
Go,
it
you know
that
the-
Dr.
you know the
Jill
thing.
Biden plans to keep teaching as First Lady. And Joe picked the right partner in Kamala. She's relentless in the pursuit of justice and equity, and she's kind. When her press secretary, Tyrone Gale, was dying of cancer, she dropped everything to be with him in his final moments. I know something about the slings and arrows she'll face, and believe me, this former district attorney and attorney general can handle them all.
Yeah.
So
Well, you couldn't handle them very well.
Pull our nation back from the brink, but they
Uh-huh.
can't do it without us.
Mhm.
For 4 years, people have told I didn't realize how dangerous he was. I wish I could do it all over, or worse.
Chandler, she's gonna bring you the hot sauce pretty soon. Get ready for it. Okay.
I'm still waiting
This
for it. I
can't
love hot
be
sauce.
another woulda, coulda, shoulda election. If you vote by mail, request your ballot now and send it back right away. If you vote in person, do it early. Become a poll worker. Most of all, no matter what, vote. As Michelle Obama and Bernie Sanders warned us, if Trump is reelected, things will get even worse. That's why we need unity.
Tell me what
now
things will
more than
actually get
ever.
even worse, because so far
Remember
almost
back
everything
in
has gotten even
2016
better.
when Trump asked, "What do you have to lose?"
He asked me
now
what
we
I have to
know.
lose.
Our health care, our jobs.
He
our
wasn't
loved
talking to
ones,
you. He was talking to
our
me.
leadership in the world.
You look at my
and
community.
even our post
Highest homicide rate
But let's
amongst
set
each
our
other. We are
sights
killing
higher
each
than
other
getting
off.
one man
We're
out
dying
of
in
the White
abortions.
Joe
Almost as many
Biden
black
and
babies are
Kamala
being
Harris
aborted than
are
born
going
in
to
New
give
York
us
City.
so
Tell
much
me,
to vote
what the hell
for.
do we have to lose?
Let's vote for the jobs that Joe's plan will create. Clean energy.
Now we got
jobs
something to
fight
lose.
climate
We got
change,
jobs to lose.
caregiving
Well, he
jobs
kind of took those with
living
COVID, but
wages.
we had jobs to
Vote
lose.
for emergency relief that lifts small businesses.
We had progress to
and
lose
saves
now.
But
hardworking
Chandler,
people.
she's gonna bring you the hot sauce. Okay.
I need that hot sauce. Bring me that hot sauce. At least he
that
can give me
billionaires
something.
got
Finally, a Democrat will do something
$400
positive for me.
billion
Enrich
richer
my
during
meal
the
with some hot
pandemic,
sauce.
While millions
Yeah, amazing.
lost their $600 a week in extra unemployment. Vote
I
for
can't
the
even listen to
parents and
her.
Teachers
I can't.
struggling to balance children's education and safety. and for healthcare workers fighting COVID-19 with little help from the White House. Vote for paid family leave and healthcare for everyone, for Social Security, Medicare, and Planned Parenthood.
Oh my
Vote for
God.
Dreamers and their families. Vote for law enforcement, purged of racial bias.
Get
that
those
keeps
chat. Get
all
those
our
clowns in the
streets
chat
safe.
going.
Vote for
Clown in Chief
justice
2020.
for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor,
Oh my God.
and Ahmaud Arbery, because Black lives matter. Vote for
Black lives
honesty.
only matter when they vote for you,
So
woman.
we, not a foreign
in
adversary,
all honesty,
choose
that is what it
our
is for you.
president. Vote for the diverse, hopeful America we saw in
That doesn't
last
make
night's
sense.
roll call. And don't forget, Joe and Kamala can
I
win
got
by
hairy
3 million
legs.
votes and still lose. Take it from me. So we
She just
need
talked about how
numbers
she lost the popular
overwhelming,
vote and she was
so
sad about
Trump
it.
can't sneak
Billions.
or steal his way to victory.
Steal the election?
Text vote.
Voter ID is what he wants. Yeah, he wants to steal the election? Make that
100
make
years
sense.
ago
What sense does that
yesterday,
make?
The 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. It took 7 decades of suffragists marching, picketing, and going to jail to push us closer to a more perfect union. 55 years ago, John Lewis marched and bled in Selma because that work was unfinished. Tonight, I'm thinking of the girls and boys who see themselves in America's future because of Kamala
The only thing
Harris.
you see in me is a super predator.
A Black woman, the
The only
daughter
thing
of
Joe sees
Jamaican
in me
and
is a
Indian
racial jungle.
immigrants, and our nominee for vice president. This is our country's story, breaking down barriers and expanding the circle of possibility. And to the young people watching, don't give up on America. Despite our flaws and
I will
problems,
never
we've
give up.
come so
No matter as
far.
much as you say you
We
don't
can
want me to,
still
you
be
want
a
me
more
to give up
just,
so that I can vote for
equal
somebody as
country with
hopeless as Joe Biden
opportunities
to lead
previous
this country out of the
generations could
glorious
never have
Trump era.
imagined. There's a lot of heartbreak in America now.
Biden's
And the
going to bring
truth
her
is
back
that
somehow. I'm
it's
telling you.
broken
Hillary's
before
going to
the
be coming back.
But as the saying
Secretary of State again?
The world breaks everyone, and afterward,
They're going to bring
many
her
are
back?
strong at the broken places.
Build back
That's
better.
Joe Biden.
That's not
He
Joe
knows
Biden.
how
I
to
got
keep
hairy
going,
legs.
Unify
Watch.
and lead.
She's going to be the Secretary of State again. Biden's going to bring her
For his
back.
family
No
and
way.
country.
You can't resist the
So come
Hillary.
November,
She does look
if
pretty
we're
young,
strong
though.
together, we'll heal together. We'll redeem the soul and the promise of our country, led by President Joe Biden
Cap.
and Vice President Kamala Harris.
Double cap.
Go, you know the thing.
Joe's not
Glad
going to be
that's
the
over.
president.
I don't think I can
Kamala's
take
gonna
much
be the
more than
president.
that.
Stepped into
She will be the
service
president of
and
the United States,
advocacy,
the first
and
female
who are
president.
using their
Yeah.
power for good. The power
She'll be
of
shadow
women
president,
is
but president
undeniable,
nonetheless.
whether it's in the
Shadow the
office,
president
in
for a
the
little while, and
home,
then Joe's
or
going
in
to
the
collapse,
house.
and then she's going to be the real president.
It is my honor to
Well,
introduce
it's what's going to happen.
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, let's hear it, Nancy. Let's hear it. What kind of pandering crap are you going to throw my way today? Oh, great. Now I got to mute it again because you're playing more music for me. You guys are pissing me off again. All right. Okay, didn't interest you. Really shouldn't have.
Now, okay. Tonight they're really bringing it on the establishment
kids?
shills. The establishment shills that nobody likes. Okay, so they've had Hillary. Now they're doing Nancy. Then they're going to do Elizabeth Warren, who is just one of the meanest people by far on the planet. And then we're going to close out the night with Kamala Harris. Okay, so there's just some of the least popular politicians you could possibly get up
In
against.
her, so many saw themselves. I did feel a real responsibility to other
Oh,
women,
don't
as
you
I
just
stood on
love
the
that
shoulders
image?
of those who
That one
went
right
before.
there, and then you
Now,
contrast it
it
with
was
what
her
it
turn
what
to
it's
say,
calling back
"Run."
to.
And run they did, winning and making her speaker once again.
We didn't have a speaker who would bring a gun bill to the floor. We didn't have a speaker who would bring a Dreamers issue to the floor. We do now.
And that's good for every American.
And here comes LGBT.
But not everyone was on board.
Nancy Pelosi, Pelosi.
I'm a mother of 5, grandmother of 9. I know what
Oh, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing.
The power of the speaker is awesome.
Didn't ask.
Awesome.
Yeah, you love power, don't you? It's all you care about. What is
If
this?
you want to go into the
This video is not convincing. Okay, even the people in her own party do not like Pelosi. In fact, everyone says like she's so old, dude. She's so old. Come on, man.
Throw a punch for the children.
Stephen Colbert is just loving every second of it.
to
Look at that
Speaker of the
family.
House and taking on the White
They're
House.
making her look so much cooler than she really is. Okay, she's gonna get up and make a lame speech, and everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell? That was the best video I've ever seen."
Speaker.
That video was way too cool for her. Okay, way
Yeah.
too cool for her.
Honestly, they should save that for somebody who actually deserves
And
it.
now, please welcome Speaker of the United States
Speaker
House
of the
of
House,
Representatives.
It's overlapping.
House Democrats, the most diverse majority. in
They screwed it
history.
up.
More than 60%
Diversity is all
women.
that matters.
They had that awesome promo, and then they screwed it up.
Our
Here we
diversity
go.
is our strength. Our unity is our power.
Diversity is our strength.
America marks
Here we
the
go.
centennial of women, finally women winning the right to vote. We do so with 105 women in the House. Proudly, 90 are Democrats. To win the vote, women marched and fought and never gave in. We stand on their shoulders, charged with carrying forward the unfinished work of our nation, advanced by heroes from Seneca Falls to Selma to Stonewall. 4 years ago, when President Obama and Vice President Biden were in the White House, they made us proud. And
I
their
got hairy
leadership made
legs.
our country great.
What?
In that spirit, we come together now, not to decry the darkness, but to light a way forward for our country. That is the guiding purpose of House Democrats, fighting for the people. We have sent the Senate bills.
The people is
for
a
lower
euphemism
healthcare
for their
costs,
pockets.
bigger paychecks,
Just saying.
for cleaner government, protecting John Lewis
Cleaner
and voting
government.
rights, and enacting George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We've sent the Senate bills.
This doesn't look very clean to me. I don't know. What about you, Vince?
Prevent gun violence.
What'd you say?
And to
This doesn't look very clean to
our
me.
planet for future
Yeah,
generations.
her city doesn't look very clean either.
All of this
Good point.
is possible for America.
Her entire
Who was
district.
standing in the way? Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump.
Your home state is being emptied
The
shut.
nation
Everybody's
faces
leaving.
The worst health and economic catastrophe in our history. More than 5 million Americans are infected by the
Because stupid
coronavirus.
Democrats like you tried to
Over
shut down every single business they could in
170,000
sight.
have died. The science
Yeah, see the video package they put together did not suit her. Like it did not fit her at all. Like they,
Yeah.
livelihood and the life of our
It's like you watch an
democracy.
ad for AirPods Pro and then you
And
click
who
it
is
and it's
standing in the
luxury
way?
pods Pro and they're like
Mitch
$19.99.
And Donald Trump. Instead
Nancy
of
Pelosi is the
crushing
luxury
virus,
pods pro of
they're trying to
politicians.
Crush the Affordable Care Act and its pre-existing conditions benefit.
Oh my goodness.
As Speaker of the House, I've seen firsthand Donald Trump's disrespect for facts, for working families, and for women in particular.
You guys just clipped together
Disrespect
3
written
different
into his
speeches to try
policies
to
toward our
bring
health
Trump's
and our
words to mean
rights,
something completely different than they
not
did.
just his
You guys are
conduct.
saying he doesn't care about facts?
But we know
And also, I
what he
forgot.
doesn't.
But
That when
billions.
women succeed, America succeeds. And so
No,
we're
I got y'all,
unleashing
I
the
got
power
y'all.
of women to take our rightful place in our national life by championing a woman's right to choose and defending
Throw up the
Roe
fat
v.
caps
Wade,
in the chat, by the way.
securing safe and affordable child
I hit the
care,
wrong one.
preserving Social Security and passing equal pay for equal work.
Equal pay for
Who's
equal
standing
work
in
is
the
what we
way?
already have. It's a
Mitch
law.
McConnell and Donald Trump. So here is our answer.
Billions.
We will remember in November when we will elect Joe Biden president, whose heart is full of love for America and rid the country of Trump's heartless disregard.
Your memory is as shaky as
for
you are after
America's
2 drinks.
goodness. Joe Biden's faith in God gives him the courage to lead. Joe Biden's love gives him the strength to persevere.
Go, you
Joe
know
Biden
the-
is
you know the
president we
thing.
need right now.
No,
Battle
he's not.
tested, forward-looking, honest, and authentic. He has never forgotten who he is fighting for.
He
And
forgot
Kamala
his
Harris
name
is the
yesterday.
vice president we need.
Might as well have.
Committed to our Constitution, brilliant in defending it, and a witness to the women
Defending
of
the
this nation
Constitution?
that our voices
Second Amendment
will
doesn't
be
seem very
heard.
definitive to me when you guys said you want to ban assault
Our
weapons
mission is
and
to
you brought
fight for
a
future
gun bill
equal
to
the
the
ideals
House.
of our
What does
families,
shall not
our
infringe
hopes
mean
for
to
our
you guys?
children, and the sacrifices of our veterans, our brave men and women in uniform, and their families. We will increase our majority
Shout
in
out to
the
everybody
House.
throwing the fat
We
caps
will
in the
win
chat.
a Democratic
Keep it
majority
going.
in the Senate. We will elect Kamala Harris vice president, and we will elect Joe Biden president of the United States of America.
Disgusting.
God bless you, and God bless America.
Don't you have a speech to rip up or something?
Thank you, Speaker.
She can't. It's on the teleprompter.
The House is the people's house. And to
She
ensure
smashes
it
the
stays
screen.
that way, we need everyone to help fund our work to elect Joe Biden and Democrats up and down the ballot. If you are able, please go to joebiden.com now and chip in whatever you can to support this campaign.
Nah, go to chandlercrump.com.
Last year, under Speaker Pelosi's leadership,
Check out
the
my
House
videos.
reauthorized the Violence Against Women Act. Joe Biden wrote that landmark law nearly 30
He also wrote the
years
Clinton
ago.
crime bill,
Since
which
then, he and
has a
other
lot of
leaders
my
have
relatives
built
in
on it.
prison.
But for all of this work, women are still not entirely safe. So the work must continue. Joe Biden knows that, and he is committed to doing that work, to making sure that women are safe, and to making sure our voices are heard. Let's listen.
This is so dumb. This is so dumb.
My name is Ruth Glenn. In 1992, my husband shot me and left me for dead. For 13 years, my son and I had been abused by him. We finally escaped, but he tracked us down. Back then, there was limited help available and no national hotline to call. Local shelters were full. I didn't even know.
I think they're going after the one thing that Joe Biden did that was good in his entire political
Now
career.
working to end
The
domestic
Democrat
violence
Party, even
is my life's
politicizing
work.
domestic abuse. Gotta love
I'm
it.
Mariska Hargitay. When I started doing research to play Detective Olivia Benson on Law & Order SVU over 20 years
I knew I
ago,
recommended her.
I was shocked
recognized
to find
her.
out how many people, including children, experience physical
Trump
and
single-handedly
sexual abuse.
backslapped every woman in
The
America.
statistics fueled my resolve, and I committed myself to the movement to end this violence.
My name is Carly Dryden. In my small hometown, I didn't feel like I could speak out about my experience with sexual assault. But at the University of Puget Sound, I met an incredible force of people working to end the culture of sexual assault. I went from survivor to advocate.
As the president and CEO of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, I've seen Joe Biden's passionate leadership in passing the Violence Against Women Act. Now, domestic violence rates are rising due to this pandemic. We need Congress to reauthorize and enhance that law. We need leaders who believe that a woman's life is worth fighting for.
Joe Biden is that kind of leader. I created the Joyful Heart Foundation to help survivors heal
I got hairy
and
legs.
to change the way our society responds to sexual violence. The Vice President has worked tirelessly by our side to end the backlog of hundreds of thousands of untested rape kits. And our work will continue because testing kits not only makes our country safer, but it sends a vital message to survivors that what happened to them matters.
The most important thing you can say to a
This
survivor
matters
is,
at the
"I
top
hear
right.
you."
That matters.
That's why I
When's
became
that
a
gonna be
leader
dealt
in
with?
It's on Us. It's a program started by Vice President Biden to eliminate sexual assault on college campuses and support a new generation of advocates, including men and boys. Because if you're silent, you're complicit, and we're just getting started.
Oh, I thought they actually meant
I am
recognizing
voting
male
for Joe
sexual
Biden
assault.
on behalf of all victims and survivors of domestic violence.
I'm voting for Joe
I
Biden
got hairy
because
legs.
it's on my generation to make sure that we never go back.
I'm voting for Joe Biden.
I got
for my
hairy
daughter,
legs.
For my sons. For all of our children.
This is the party that wants to send social workers without police to respond to domestic violence. That's what they've been saying, is that domestic violence abuse requires social workers, not police. Okay, yeah, all right, that's gonna go greatly.
For a gun.
I'm sure the social workers will do a great job. They're just gonna stop the disputes.
They'll
If
do
I had
beautifully.
ever called the police on him, that he would kill me.
You didn't hear voices like these in the halls of the U.S. Capitol.
My husband stabbed me 13 times and broke my neck while the police were on the scene. I nearly died and I am permanently paralyzed.
Senator Joe Biden
He looks dead.
invited them to speak.
Battered women need to be taken seriously. Proper police response can prevent what happened to me from happening to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
At the time, the police considered domestic violence something
Is that Kamala's voice?
that was not a crime.
It sounds like it.
Home, it's a private matter.
Oh,
So
voice of
women are
Victoria
responsible
Norris.
for their own injuries.
She could do a bang up Kamala impression if she
About
wanted
to
to.
say I know.
Of course, she wouldn't
I
want to,
don't
but
know.
you know.
I can only guess how painful that is.
This is like 2 years
Growing
after he
up,
said
our
racial
father
jungle
said that the
or
greatest
N-word
of
big
all
shots.
sins was the abuse of power. He told us when a bully, when someone bigger or stronger takes advantage of you, that is a really grave sin. The expectation was for all four of us to be a person of character.
We already have an N-word male. We don't need any more
You see something
N-word
wrong?
big shots.
We were then expected to stand up and do something about it.
And now we're gonna go back on what we did by sending in social workers to deal with domestic violence disputes.
Our bill is an ambitious
Great idea.
It is
Great
a
idea.
first attempt to
Great
address
idea.
violent crimes against women.
It was hard to get the votes because you had some traditionalists who just didn't believe that there should be laws about this.
But Joe doesn't give up. He's tenacious. Joe persevered, and he's very good at persuasion.
And they're doing nothing to help him. Nothing.
He brought together law enforcement, prosecutors, advocates, and survivors.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak.
In 1994, the Violence Against Women Act became law and protected millions of American women.
A lot of the change in the attitudes we have about domestic violence were shaped by his leadership on this.
If you see something wrong, we were then expected to stand
I'm not
up
forgetting any clips. I'm not putting them
and do
as
something about it.
100% often.
If you're just joining us, welcome. Coming up, we're going to hear from President Barack Obama and Senator Kamala Harris, who will talk about the Biden-Harris future. In order
I
to
got
get
hairy
to that more
legs.
perfect union, we have to acknowledge where we are. Today in America, we are struggling. Unemployment has skyrocketed and families are fighting to keep their jobs.
It's actually going
As
back
Joe Biden
down, but
says, we
whatever.
need to build back better.
I got hairy
To
legs.
find out how you can join that effort, please text JOIN to 30330 to get
Something
plugged
tells me
into
they're
this
not getting
campaign
enough
and to get
numbers on
more
that line as they
information
want.
on how to vote and how to volunteer.
Go to 303. We need that soundbite. We need that soundbite. 303.
Our next
30.
speaker, Hilda Solis, worked alongside him as Secretary of Labor to make sure that there were good American jobs and that Americans were safe on the job. To hear more about the Biden-Harris economic plan, please welcome Hilda Solis.
Hello, I'm Hilda Solis. The day Vice President Biden swore me in as Secretary of Labor was one of the proudest moments of my life.
I'm getting that clip, by the way.
My parents realized they had achieved their American dream because the daughter of two blue-collar immigrants would make history and give voice to people just like them. American workers need a fighter now more than ever. And Joe Biden is that person.
Caps in the
because he has
chat.
done it before, and I've seen it firsthand. He and President Obama made it easier for home care workers to organize. They extended overtime pay to more than 4 million workers. They saved the automobile industry and a whole lot of good union jobs with it. And when millions of families lost their homes, my friend from California, Senator Kamala Harris, took on the big banks and won. But because of Donald Trump's failures, we must once again rescue a sinking economy. Millions of Americans are out of work, and communities of color are the hardest hit. Millions of essential workers are putting their lives at risk.
Every single
with
worker is
little
essential.
protections, and millions more are just plain tired. That's why Joe
Tired of your
Biden
crap.
and Kamala Harris actually have a plan, not only to recover what we lost, but to improve upon it, to build back better, creating 5 million good union jobs by bringing back supply chains to America. That's building back better. Creating millions of jobs by investing in clean energy. That's building back better. And making sure that working families can afford childcare. That's how we build back better. So let me borrow and slightly edit something Joe Biden said at my swearing in. When it comes to expanding the economy for all people, no one is going to be a stronger voice than our next president, Joe Biden. The conversation you're about to see proves it.
Also,
I got hairy legs.
Behind every business, there's a story.
Oh, there's my mayor. There's my wonderful mayor, guys.
really?
Yeah, that's my mayor. He's just such a brilliant freaking genius.
In pain right now. For every farm, there's a fight to stay whole.
There's hard work.
And there's heartbreak.
We are going to lose 20 to 30% of our small businesses.
Because Democrats are shutting them down when they need to stay open.
Yep.
This is the story of Kevin and Molly
Exactly.
John, family-owned business in Lake County, Ohio.
We have 10 to 12 employees on a given day. When COVID-19 hit, it was a lot of confusion.
I remember being scared and being uncertain.
We shut down last week because we ran out of work, and we had enough to come in for another week. If we don't get additional orders in, we're going to have to look at another shutdown.
You can't make a big purchase. Equipment you can't plan for the
We
future.
don't even know if we can cover payments.
Got it.
Isn't it going well? It's scary.
You're kind of forgotten, right? The president always bragging about the stock market.
Billions!
Sort of leaves a lot of small manufacturing companies behind.
We could use a little help right now, and it just seems like we get one step forward and then
Democrats keep stalling the relief bill.
I love how Democrats are sitting in their own cities
This
and
is the
screaming about
story
Trump
of
when they
Renee
actually
Green,
need to solve their own
who just
problems
started
in their
a
city.
clothing store, and then COVID hit.
Fashion has been a love.
Are these
of mine.
people really trying to pretend like they're on the side of small businesses? This is the party shutting down small businesses and then refusing to even pass an aid package unless it has their stupid left-wing wish list that has nothing to do with helping the small businesses.
And then they'll throw you into jail because of it.
No one was buying
These people,
anything.
yeah, and they'll throw you into jail for opening your small business.
I reached out to my bank.
Oh no, this is the party of small businesses, guys. This is clearly the party of small businesses.
Yeah.
A lot of the bigger
It's like
businesses,
they do the
million-dollar
exact opposite
businesses
and then
who
say we support
bail
you.
out.
Like for black people, they
myself,
directly
she said,
fund Planned Parenthood, which
struggle.
destroys
Being an
us,
African-American
and then says
female
we are for
business
African Americans.
owner under President Trump, I feel
Nonsense.
It makes you wonder,
I'm
like,
alone.
are they just
I'm alone.
a truly evil
This is
group
the
of
story of
people?
Lynn
Billions!
and her 2 restaurants. One closed and one still open.
It's always really hard for restaurants to begin. It would be crowded in here with babies and families and crowds outside waiting to get in. It was pretty exciting.
Sounds
And
great.
on the day of the shutdown, we were actually reviewed in the Los Angeles Times. On that day, the virus was announced as a global pandemic.
It's really, really sad to see. And if we don't turn this around soon, I mean, we're going to see this not just be this year, but you're going to see Ghost Town for Main Street USA.
The first decision that I had to make.
The only
because
business Democrats
hundreds of
support
people
is
are looking at
rioting.
you. And unfortunately, the call was to furlough everybody. At this point, I don't even see myself in business next month.
¿Qué efecto de esta pandemia ha sido en su trabajo? y su
Busting out the
espíritu?
Spanish.
Es
Nice
más
work.
difícil, mucho
From my
más
stupid
trabajo.
mayor. My stupid mayor. Look
Hey,
at him.
he knows
Look
another
at him.
language that you don't.
Look at him.
Unless you're about to bust out another language,
And I
Vince.
know that it must feel like you're falling right now without a map.
I kind of know some Spanish, but I'm not
Hard
going to
businesses
break it
to
out
succeed
because
at,
my accent is
but
pretty
we were going
terrible.
to do it in a way that was going to provide a successful career for not only myself, but 100 employees.
What's this?
This is the story of Dan Reiner. He's a 5th-generation farmer struggling to keep his business alive. I'm not so sure that the president understands that when he thinks about business, I don't think he thinks about farmers as a business.
No, he has.
Trump has done the most for farmers, I think, in
Dan,
American
tell me
history.
A little bit about the farm.
We've been here since 1864. Trade tariffs with China have just been horrible. Part of the language in the trade deal said that China does not have to buy unless the price is to their advantage. What kind of trade deal is that? That's no deal. Then when COVID hit, then everyone.
Oh yes, let's have
Imagine what kind of trade deals Obama had.
Let's have Biden negotiate trade deals. That sounds like a great idea.
Joe Biden will be a clear voice for us, something that we
Clear
haven't
voice?
done.
Joe Biden has an understanding of what the average
How clear is
American
that?
is experiencing.
He'll go into China and he'll be like, "What's up, Kim Jong Un? It's like, it's so great to be here in North Korea.
I'm so happy to be in Laos with the leader of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City,
Taken a lot of
with Kim
knockdowns,
Jong-un.
and we know that at the end of the day, we will endure.
We will rise again. Every time I get knocked down, I got to get up and keep running, keep going, keep going.
Man.
So they said Warren is going to talk now. Yes.
Yeah.
Now Warren is going to pretend to be a farmer.
Oh,
She's
wow.
a farmer. Here comes the farmer, guys.
People to make America
She's
work.
1 in 10/24th farmer.
Lives on the line to keep our country going. And since COVID-19 hit, they've taken one gut punch after another. And what has the COVID fallout done to our babies? Well, I'm here at the Early
You
Childhood
sure they haven't been
Education
vacuumed
Center
apart?
in
Oh,
Springfield,
you're talking about those
Massachusetts,
babies. Okay.
which has been closed for months. Childcare was already hard to find before the pandemic, and now parents are stuck. No idea when schools can safely reopen, and even
Vince,
fewer
where's the stick?
childcare options.
I don't know where the stick
devastation
is.
is enormous, and the way I
I've
see
lost
it,
it.
big problems demand big solutions. Now, I love a good plan.
I thought
and
she was about
Joe
to say, I
Biden
love a
has
good
some
beer.
Really good plans.
Go, you know
Plans
the-
to
you
bring
know the
back
thing.
union jobs in
This ain't it,
manufacturing,
Chief.
union jobs in clean energy. Plans to increase Social Security benefits, cancel billions in student loan debt, and make our bankruptcy laws work for families instead of the creditors who cheat them. These plans.
Oh, yeah, there's a
reflect
BLM
central
behind her.
truth.
Good eyes.
Our economic
Good eyes,
system has
human
been
being.
rigged to give
Oh my
bailouts
God.
to billionaires and kick dirt in the face of everyone else. But we can build a
His comments
thriving
got me.
economy by investing in families and fixing what's broken. The plan to build back better includes making the wealthy pay their fair share.
Oh my God. What is a fair share? Tell me, what is a fair share? Paying
repairing
more
racial
taxes than every other person in America?
and
How
fighting
come
More,
Mike
a higher
Bloomberg?
percent? Is that fair?
How come Mike Bloomberg isn't speaking at the DNC? I'm kind of surprised.
It's
They couldn't fit him in
especially
through the
close to my
door.
heart. Childcare.
Too small.
As a little girl
Didn't
growing
work.
up in Oklahoma, what
He's
I
too scared of
wanted
Elizabeth Warren.
was to be a teacher.
The cameras were too
loved
big.
teaching.
He was
And when I
intimidated.
had babies and was juggling my first big teaching job down in Texas, it was hard, but I could do hard. The thing that almost sank me,
Pause.
childcare. One night, my Aunt B called just to check in.
Her Aunt B. That's the Aunt B that talked about her high cheekbones as proof that she's Native American. It's that Aunt B.
I had tried holding it all together, but
My
without
mama
the
said I had high cheekbones.
working.
That means
was
I'm Native
no
American.
Some of your loyal
And when
commenters
I
are
told
too
Aunt
funny.
B I was going to quit my job, I thought my heart would break. And then she said the words.
Listen to that
changed
gulping
my
sound
life.
from Vince. Oh,
I can't get there tomorrow, but I'll come on Thursday. And she arrived with 7 suitcases and a Pekingese named Buddy and stayed for 16 years. I get to be here tonight.
And the
because of
dog
my
was
mom.
1 10/24th cat.
I learned a fundamental truth. Nobody makes it on their own. And yet, here we are, 2 generations of working parents later. And if you have a baby and don't have an Aunt B, you're on your own.
What?
And here's why that is wrong. We build infrastructure like roads and bridges and communication systems so that people can work.
Last
That
I heard,
infrastructure
Democrats
helps
burn
us all
bridges.
because it keeps our economy going. It's time to recognize that childcare is part of the basic infrastructure of this nation. It's
We'd love to send our kids to
infrastructure
school rather than
for
having to invest in childcare, but no, it's not safe.
High quality childcare affordable for every family, make preschool universal, and raise the wages of
Chandler,
every
do you want a
child.
beer?
Now, that's just one plan, but it gives you an idea of how we get this country working for everyone. Donald Trump's ignorance and incompetence have always been a danger to our country. COVID-19 was Trump's biggest test. He failed miserably.
And she failed the DNA
There
test.
has the most COVID deaths in the
Miserably.
world and an economic collapse. And both crises are falling hardest on Black and brown families.
There you go.
Millions out of work, millions more trapped in cycles of poverty.
We didn't have much
millions on the
before,
brink of
even
losing
with
their
Trump
homes,
improving us
millions
to the
of
best we could
restaurants
go.
and stores hanging by a thread. This crisis is bad, and it didn't have to be this way. This crisis is on Donald Trump and the Republicans who enable him. On November 3rd, We will hold them all accountable.
Trump single-handedly assembled the COVID-19
So,
virus.
whether you're planning to vote wearing a mask or vote by mail, please take out your phone right now and text VOTE to 30330. We all need to be in the fight to get Joe and Kamala elected. And after November, we all need to stay in the fight to get big things done.
I got hairy legs.
We stay in this fight so that when
too
our
much.
children and our grandchildren ask what we did during this dark chapter in our nation's history,
Dark chapter.
we will be able
Really?
to look them squarely in the eye and say, we organized, we persisted, and we changed America.
I got hairy legs.
Dang it. Fit the silence perfectly.
Former President Barack Obama has
Let's
said
get
that
it.
choosing Joe
Let's
Biden
get
to
it.
be his vice president was one of the best decisions he ever made.
All
And
right.
this is a man
Everybody,
who has
when
made a lot
when
of
Obama
good
comes on
decisions,
screen,
making
I need you to
healthcare more
spam
affordable
the
and
clown emoji. I don't care if
accessible,
you never talk in the
rescuing
chat
our
after this or
economy,
before this,
protecting
but the
American
second you
jobs,
see Obama on
marrying
screen,
Michelle
I need
Obama.
you to spam
And through
that
it
clown
all,
emoji in the chat.
Joe
You guys
Biden
ready?
was by his side.
It's only a
except
matter of
maybe
it's only a
Mary
matter of
Michelle.
seconds.
You can witness their mutual
Okay.
respect and affection
It'll
in
come
this
in a
clip.
second.
Take a look.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait for him to come on when
We
he's
need a
speaking.
video. Oh, I've seen this. I've seen this.
For your faith in your fellow Americans.
This man's crying.
For your love of country.
Don't put the
and
clown
for your
emojis yet. Wait
lifetime of
until
service that will
Obama's
endure
there.
Through the generations.
I've seen this.
I'd like to ask.
So
the
wholesome, so
full
sweet.
brigade to join us on stage.
The clown emojis are here already. Look at this. Oh my god. It's too much.
For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He gave it to Joe, by the way, not just the regular one, but with distinction. They only give it with distinction like once. Every president gives it once in their presidency.
Wow.
And this man's gave it to his own vice president. So lazy.
You see that Medal of Honor right there, Joe Biden? He didn't earn that.
And
We're in clown mode, folks.
for the first and only time in my presidency, I will bestow this medal with an additional
Level of veneration, an honor my three most recent successors reserved for only three others, Pope John Paul II, President Ronald Reagan, and General Colin Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden
To my
Jr.
brother, Joseph.
Will the aide please
Robinette
read the citation?
Biden Jr.
Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. In a career of public service spanning nearly half a century, Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Make it
has
stop.
left his mark on almost every part of our nation.
I got hairy
Fighting
legs.
for a stronger middle class, a fairer judicial system, and a smarter foreign policy.
Go, you know this.
Providing
You know the
unyielding
thing.
support for our troops, combating crime and violence against women, leading our quest to cure cancer, and safeguarding the landmark American Recovery and Reinvestment Act from corruption. With his charm, candor, unabashed optimism, and deep and abiding patriotism, Joe Biden has garnered the respect and esteem of colleagues of both parties and the friendship of people across the nation and around the world, while summoning the strength, faith, and grace to overcome great personal tragedy. This son of Scranton, Claymont, and Wilmington has become one of the most consequential vice presidents in American history. An accolade that nonetheless rests firmly behind his legacy as husband, father, and grandfather.
I'm Joe
The
Biden's
grateful
husband.
nation thanks Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. for his lifetime of service on behalf of the United States of America.
Trump giving that dog the medal was worth a lot more than this. Conan the dog.
I got hairy legs.
The dog deserved it. Here we
Good
go.
evening, everybody.
Get the clowns up. Get the clowns up
As
right
you've
now.
seen by now,
I need to see that
this
chat
isn't a
full of
normal
clowns.
convention.
Get it going,
It's
folks.
not a normal time.
Fill it up. Fill it up.
So tonight, I want to talk as plainly as I can about the stakes in this election. Because what we do these next 76 days will echo through generations to come.
Get it going.
I'm in Philadelphia, where our Constitution was drafted and signed. It wasn't a perfect document. It allowed for the inhumanity of slavery.
Oh,
And
here we
failed to
go.
grant
Here we go.
Loud.
And even men who didn't own property,
Oh, here we go.
the right to participate in the political process. But embedded in this document was a North Star that would guide future generations. A system of representative government, a democracy, through which
It's
we
not a
could better
democracy.
realize our highest ideals.
Them clowns are in the chat. Good work. Keep it going.
Through civil war,
I want to see up through his whole
bitter
speech.
struggles, we improved this Constitution to include the voices of those who'd once been left out. And gradually, we made this country more just and more equal.
I start talking about Joe so I can throw these videos in.
The one constitutional office elected by all of the people is the president. So at a minimum, we should expect a president to feel a sense of responsibility for the safety and welfare of all 330 million of us, regardless of what we look like, how we worship, who we love, how much money we have, or who we voted for. But we should also expect a president to be the
I
custodian.
thought I was a
of this
deplorable.
democracy. We should expect that regardless of ego, ambition, or political beliefs,
Of which Obama has plenty.
will preserve, protect, and defend the freedoms and ideals that
Nope.
so many Americans marched for, went to jail for, fought for, and died for. I have sat in the Oval Office with both of the men who are running for president. I never expected that my successor would embrace my vision or continue my policies. I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously.
Billions.
Serious.
He
Oh my
might
god.
feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care.
Are you taking it seriously when you kill children with drones?
But he never did.
Doesn't
For
seem like
close
he
to
did
4
either.
years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work.
Putting in the work.
No interest in finding common ground.
Finding common
No
ground.
interest in using the awesome power of his office. to
Using
help
the awesome
anyone
power of
but
his office.
himself and his friends.
I think you and him purportedly
No
have something in
interest
common then.
Treating the presidency as anything but one more reality show that he can use to get the attention he craves.
That's a low blow.
Donald
That
Trump
doesn't make
had
any sense.
a job.
Billions.
The consequences of that failure are severe.
Mm-hmm.
170,000 Americans dead.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of jobs.
Call
gone.
Cuomo about that
While
one.
those at the top taken more than ever. Our worst impulses unleashed. Our proud reputation around the world badly diminished.
Yeah, you went on a whole tour apologizing. What do you mean?
Institutions threatened like never before.
But they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing.
I know that in times as polarized as these, most of you
We're actually
have already
respected
made
throughout
up
the
your
world
mind.
now because we have good trade deals, because we have a better
Maybe.
economy than we ever did under you,
still
and
not
we actually
sure
care
which
about the
candidate you'll vote
international
for.
presence.
Or whether you'll vote at all. Maybe you're tired of the direction we're headed, but you can't see a better path yet. Or you just don't know enough about the person who wants to lead us there.
We know plenty.
So let me tell you about my friend.
Triple the
Joe
national
Biden.
debt, but okay.
I got hairy
12
legs.
years ago, when I began my search, for
Now we're going to
vice
learn about
president,
what a great person Joe Biden is.
I didn't
There we
know
go.
I'd end up finding a brother.
Mm-hmm. He's a great person and a
Well,
good
I
man.
come from different places.
He's a real nice guy, I
generations,
promise.
He's a real nice guy. They swear.
What I came to admire about Joe Biden is his resilience, born of too much struggle.
What the hell does this have to?
Born of too much
What does this
freedom.
have to do with? Oh
I
yes.
didn't care when Trump got a small loan of $1 million, and I didn't care when you had a different name or something. I don't care about none of that. Okay.
By the words,
what do you have to offer for this nation?
No one's better than you, Joe.
He's a nice guy. Let's go vote for
You're
him.
better than nobody.
3-0-3-3.
That empathy, that decency, the belief that everybody counts.
What the hell?
That's who Joe is. When he talks with someone who's lost her job, Joe remembers the night his father sat him down to say that he'd lost his.
Why do you know this story?
When Joe listens to a parent who's trying to hold it all together right now, he does it as a single dad who took the train back to Wilmington each and every night so he could tuck his kids into bed.
What if Obama's secretly corn pop?
When he meets the military families who've lost their hero.
That'd be funny. That'd be an amazing plot twist.
Spirit, the parent of an American soldier. Somebody whose faith has endured the hardest loss there is.
Cornbama.
For 8 years, Joe was the last one in the room whenever I faced a big decision.
Go, you know the
He made
thing.
me a better president.
Donald Trump just tweeted out he spied on my campaign and got caught just now, 26 seconds ago.
No way.
And in
No way.
Kamala Harris,
Yeah.
he's chosen an ideal partner.
Yo!
Who is more than prepared for the job. Someone who knows what it's like to overcome barriers and who's made a career fighting to help others live out their own American dream.
Oh my Lord.
Along with the
Trump
experience
is a
needed to get
savage.
things done, Joe and
Hold
Kamala
up.
have concrete policies that will turn their vision of a better, fairer, stronger country into reality.
Let me put this on screen.
They will get this pandemic under control.
Cap.
Like Joe did when he helped me manage H1N1. and
That
prevent
was
an
great. That
Ebola
was some
outbreak from
fantastic
reaching our
management,
country.
huh? What was it, like,
They'll
like
expand
21 million
healthcare
deaths or
to
something?
more
Don't quote me on
Americans,
that,
like
but
Joe and I did 10
No,
years ago.
15,000 in America,
The
but
Affordable
they
Care
didn't
Act
declare
and
national
the
emergency
Make
until
Law.
1,000 deaths, and they
No
basically
rescue
didn't
the
do anything
economy.
about it.
Like Joe helped me do
It's
after
terrible.
the Great Recession. I asked him to manage the Recovery Act, which jump-started the longest stretch of job growth in history.
Cap.
And he sees this moment now, not as a chance to get back to where we were, but to make long overdue changes so that our economy actually makes life a little easier for everybody.
Oh my God.
Whether it's the waitress
That
trying
tweet,
to
that tweet
raise
got
a kid
me.
on her own, or the shift worker always on the edge of getting laid off, or the student figuring out how to pay for next semester's classes. Joe and Kamala will restore our standing in the world. And as we've learned from this pandemic, that matters. Joe knows the world, and the world knows him.
3-0-3.
He knows that our true strength comes from setting an example that the world wants to follow. A nation that stands with democracy, not dictators. A nation that can inspire and mobilize others.
Obama bows to
overcome threats
dictators.
like climate change and terrorism, poverty and disease. But more than anything, what I know about Joe, what I know about Kamala, is that they actually care about every American. And that they care deeply about this democracy. They believe
Lies
that in
on
a
lies on
democracy,
lies.
the right to vote is sacred, and we should be making it easier for people to cast their ballots, not harder.
We've had elections for,
believe
what,
that
like
no
200
one,
years now? Is it really
including
that
the
hard to
president,
vote?
Is above the law. And that
You
no
spied on
public
his
official,
campaign and still haven't
including
felt the
the
repercussions
president,
of it. It sure looks like Democrats
should
are
use
above the
their
law.
office
They do
to
what they
enrich
want.
themselves or their supporters.
He spied on a campaign and probably gave some of the
They
information
understand that
away.
in this democracy,
That sounds like
the
using the office for your own
commander-in-chief
gain,
does
Obama.
not use the men and women of our military who are willing to risk
He governed really like a gangster. He used the government. He literally used the government to go after political opponents, whether it's the IRS,
on our own soil.
DOJ.
Peaceful protesters.
They understand that political opponents aren't un-American just because they disagree with you. A free press isn't.
I don't know. Take a good look at Ilhan Omar and what she stands for. I don't know how you can really call that American anymore.
That our ability to work together to solve big problems like a pandemic depend on a fidelity to facts and science and logic and not just making stuff up.
Oh, man.
None of this should be controversial.
Uh-huh.
These shouldn't be Republican principles or Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
They are American.
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, this president and those who enable him
him
have shown they don't believe in these things.
Oh my God.
Come again?
Tonight, I'm asking you to believe.
It's funny, you know, Obama, once he got into office, especially I'd say his second term, just became so unbelievably divisive.
But here's the thing. No single American can
I
fix
forgot
this
about
country
that.
alone. Not even a president.
You
Democracy
just
was
spent
never
5
meant
minutes
to be
talking about how you did it
transactional.
yourself.
Give me your vote,
What do you
I
mean?
make everything better. It requires an active
Shout out to
and
Z
informed
Commander again.
citizenry.
Thank you so much.
So I'm also asking you to believe in your own ability, to embrace your own responsibility as citizens.
Oh, the virtue signaling is back.
Tenets of our democracy endure.
Did it ever really go away,
Because
Vince?
that's what's at stake right now.
It sometimes is worse than others.
Our democracy.
Somebody.
Look, I understand why a lot of Americans are down on government.
Night, Z Commander.
The way the rules have been set up and abused in Congress make it easier for special interests to stop progress than to make progress. Believe me, I know it. I understand why a white factory worker who's seen his wages cut or his job shipped overseas.
Why does this
feel like
race matter?
The government no longer looks out for him. And
Yeah,
why
and
Mom might feel like it never looked out for her at all. I understand why a new immigrant might look around this country and wonder whether there's still a place for him here. Why a young person might look at politics right now. The circus of it all, the meanness and the lies and conspiracy.
They sure saw a lot tonight.
Point.
Sometimes conspiracy theories are true.
Well, here's the point. This president and those in power, those who benefit from keeping things the way they are.
Keeping things the way they are.
They know they can't win you over with their policies.
Cap.
Trump is such an establishment candidate.
Hard as possible for you to vote and to convince you that your vote does not matter. That is how they win.
Never forget.
That is how they get to keep making decisions that affect your life and the lives of the people you love. That's how the economy will keep getting skewed to the wealthy and well-connected.
Oh my God.
How our
They're
health
hardworking
systems
and
will
well
let
networked.
More people fall through the
Oh
cracks.
God.
That's how a democracy withers.
I don't want a college
So it's
student
no
that works at
democracy at
McDonald's
all.
making the same money as somebody who runs McDonald's.
And we cannot let that happen. Do not let them take away your power.
Your
Do
power.
not let them take away your democracy. Make a plan right now for how
Come
you
on,
will
man.
get involved and vote. Do it as early as you can and tell your family and friends how they can vote too.
Go to
Do what Americans have done for over 2 centuries when faced with even tougher times than this.
If it worked for 2 centuries when they still had horses,
All
why
those
won't it
5
work
heroes
now?
Who found the courage to keep marching, keep pushing in the face of hardship and injustice.
Check Trump's Twitter right now.
We lost
Oh boy,
a giant
is it even better?
of American democracy, John Lewis.
Yeah.
And some years ago, I sat down with John.
Oh,
and a
man.
few
How did he
remaining
refuse to
leaders
enforce
of
Sleepy
the
Joe
early
until it was
civil
all
rights
over? Oh, Trump's going
One of
off.
them told me he never imagined he'd walk into the White House and see a president who looked like his grandson.
Billions.
And then he told me that he had looked it up. And it turned out that on the very day that I was born, he was marching into a jail cell, trying to end Jim Crow segregation in the South.
I wonder who brought that in.
What we do echoes.
It's just such
through generations.
betrayal, in all honesty.
Whatever our backgrounds, we are all the children of Americans who fought the good fight.
On stolen land, right?
Great grandparents working in fire traps and sweatshops without rights or representation.
Sounds like China to me.
Farmers losing their dreams to dust. Irish and Italians and Asians and
You know how
Latinos
hard
told,
farmers
"Go back
struggled when
where you come
when
from."
you were in office, Obama? Shout out to Travis P for the
Jews and
$5 super
Catholics,
chat.
Muslims.
We're
and
doing our
Sikhs
best,
made
Travis.
to feel suspect for the way they worshipped. Black Americans chained
Let's hear it.
and whipped
Wow. Wow.
and hanged.
Wow. That's all you can think
spit
about.
on
That's all you
for
can think
trying to
about.
sit at lunch counters.
All they can ever bring up is the negatives. They can't ever see
trying to
anything
vote.
positive about being any of these minorities. They always try to say are valuable to this nation and that
had a
diversity
right
is good. But
to
anytime you
believe
bring
that
up any of
this
these people that are
democracy
diverse,
did not
it's
work
nothing but negative.
and
Nothing but,
could
oh,
not
you were
work,
lynched, or nothing but, oh, you were in sweatshops, or
it
nothing but
was
you were
those
slave.
Americans,
Is that all you
our
see in me, Obama?
ancestors.
Is that
They
all? Is
were
that all
on
Democrats see in
the
me?
receiving end of a democracy that had fallen short all their lives. They knew how far the daily reality of
I'm tired
America
of it.
strayed from them.
I'm tired of it.
And yet, instead of giving up, they joined together. And they said, somehow, some way, we are going to make this work. We are going to bring those words in our founding documents to life. I have seen that same spirit rising these past few years. Folks of every age and background who packed city centers and airports and rural roads so that families wouldn't be separated, so that another classroom wouldn't get shot up, so that our kids won't grow up on an uninhabitable planet. Americans of all races joining together to declare,
get the clowns back in the chat.
face of
Let's get it.
injustice and brutality at the hands of the state.
Hands of the
that
state.
Black Lives
You're an
Matter.
authoritarian. Get out of here.
No more, but no less. So that no child in this country feels the continuing sting of racism.
If they matter no more than no less, then why can't we say all lives matter?
To the young people who led us this summer, telling us we need to be better. In so
Yes,
many ways,
to the
we
virtue
are
signalers.
this country's dreams fulfilled. Earlier generations had to be persuaded that everyone has equal worth. For you, it's a given, a conviction.
That's not how young people see themselves. They
And
have
what I
actually
want
very terrible
you to
views of
know
themselves.
Is that for all its messiness,
It's honestly a problem.
and frustrations, your system
Leftism
of
doesn't help.
Self-government can be harnessed to help you realize those convictions for all of us. You can give our democracy new meaning.
We're not a democracy, and we never have
can
been.
take it to a better place.
And if as long as I live, we never will be. We are a
You're the
republic
missing ingredient.
established on the Constitution.
The ones who will decide whether or not America becomes the country that fully lives up to its creed.
Tell me what that is. Tell me what that is. What is that?
That work will continue long after this election. But any chance of success depends entirely on the outcome of this election.
Oh, yes. He loves equality so much, he uses the IRS to go
The
after Tea
administration
Party
has
groups.
shown it will tear our
He loves
democracy
equality so much.
down.
You can't
But
tear down
that's
something
what
that
it
doesn't
takes for
exist,
them to
Obama.
win. So we have to get busy building it up by pouring
Back better.
all our efforts into these 76 days.
I got hairy
And
legs.
by voting like never before for Joe and Kamala. and
I think it's gonna go
candidates
till
up and down the
11.
ticket,
Honestly.
so that we leave no doubt about what this country that we love stands for today and for all our days to come. Stay safe.
Oh, maybe it's over.
God bless.
You don't believe in God.
Oh, he had a podium the whole time. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
he did. He's a lanky guy.
Thank you,
Probably couldn't see it
President
with
Obama,
the camera
for
angle. What's
Thank you
next?
for your brilliant leadership. Joe Biden has chosen an extraordinary woman to be his running mate. Kamala Harris is a fighter,
Extraordinarily
and a
villainous.
trailblazer, using her
She is an
ground
extraordinary woman, Chandler.
protect families
And if you say anything
and
otherwise, you're a
together
misogynist and a racist.
I guess so.
So thrilled for her to become the Vice President of the United States. Now, please
Oh.
welcome our convention chair, Congressman Benny Thompson.
What? You're not Kamala
Delegates and
Harris.
Distinguished guests. Our procedural
Oh, this
rules
guy.
provide
Yeah.
that the presidential candidate who obtained a majority of all pledged and automatic delegates
what did he just
will
say?
nominate the Democratic candidate for
Oh,
vice
okay.
president. In accordance with our rules, Vice President Biden has nominated Senator Kamala Harris as his vice presidential candidate.
Oh, no.
Our rules further provide that if only one candidate is nominated for vice president, the chair is authorized to declare the nominee the Democratic candidate.
They can't
for vice
they can't take
president.
the smoke.
As such, with only one nomination received and pursuant to our rules, I hereby declare that Kamala Harris is elected as the Democratic candidate for vice president. I'm pleased to report that Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris has been invited to deliver an acceptance speech.
Kamala Harris is my auntie.
That was a
my
jump.
My big sister.
Yep, it's a video.
Which means you'll always be my older sister.
And there are some things we'd like to share with you. To my brother and me, you'll always be Mamala, the world's greatest
Ooh,
stepmom.
cringe.
You're
cringe.
my role model who taught me I could do
cringe,
and
cringe,
be
cringe, cringe.
anything I wanted.
My favorite person. My partner
That's how she
in
laughs.
mischief and injustice.
You're a rock, not just for our dad, but for 3
I wish I could tell
generations
you.
of our big
I
blended
wish.
family.
You showed me the importance of public service and made sure I grew up surrounded by smart, strong, ambitious women every day.
Growing up, heaven help the poor kid who picked on me because my big sister would be there in a flash, ready to have my back. Well, now we've got your back as you and Joe fight to protect our democracy.
I got hairy legs. No union more perfect.
We're not a
than the one
democracy.
that brings us all to your kitchen table every Sunday night for stir fry, feta chicken, or spaghetti and meatball family dinners.
Oh my God, she's so relatable, guys. Look at how relatable she is.
Oh my God,
She's
she
a
eats food.
She eats food. She's a regular person just like you.
What it's like to
Oh.
look at the world as fierce,
I can't believe it.
formidable, phenomenal
She
women
breathes?
in their
Whoa,
own
she's got my
unique
vote.
way.
I
She's
love
so
you.
relatable.
I
A regular
admire you.
person.
I am
Oh.
so proud of you.
Whoa.
And even though mommy's not
She
here
has
to see her
skin?
first daughter
It's-
spending
it's brown?
the entire
Take my
nation
vote. Take my
will
vote.
see in your strength, your integrity, your intelligence, and your optimism the values that she raised us with.
We love you, Mamala.
We're so
Stop.
proud of you.
It doesn't work.
Mamala.
World to us,
Mama. Get out of
We
here.
could not be more
Mamala.
excited.
She's Mamala too.
Sounds like a Migos
next-
ad lib.
as the
Mamala.
next
Vice President.
Vice President of the United States.
Mamala. I'm
Joe
done.
Biden has selected Kamala Harris as his running mate.
She is the first Black woman, first South Asian woman to be named on the Democratic ticket.
This is a historic pick.
Someone who looks like
Those videos are totally unrelated. They just took some stock footage of people dancing on the internet. They're like,
Yeah, yeah. For all we know, that kid just watched the last episode of Rugrats.
The daughter of Chandler.
oh my God, look, she's a regular person just like you. Oh,
Whoa, she blinks.
HBCU grad.
she went to an HBCU. Oh, how incredible. So stunning and brave. Oh my God.
She's a hard worker, a really hard worker.
She's brilliant, she's smart, she's tough, and she's got a big future.
She's so qualified. Oh,
Mamala.
Kamala Harris is like a dream to me. Senator Harris.
Don't worry, mandatory. We'll see you.
There's no doubt about it.
When she says for the people, it is in every ounce of who she is.
not for her campaign staffers that she abused.
Wait, she did that too? I thought that was just Klobuchar.
No, she basically lied and scammed and abused her camp. This is the big reason she resigned. She
Oh, wow.
dropped out of the race because there's a huge scandal where she was abusing her campaign staffer.
Yeah, it was also because she was hashtag Black Hillary.
LGBT people, disabled people, young people, old people, all of America.
It's about all of us knowing
The queen of capitulation.
to lift people up, right?
You couldn't even lift yourself up.
We see them and we hear them and that they matter.
Oh, I can relate to them because I'm so relatable. Oh,
She couldn't lift herself up high enough to actually be the Democrat nominee.
hashtag relatable. They showed the same picture twice. They didn't even care. They showed the same picture twice.
Now they're just cutting between women kissing. What is this supposed to inspire in me? What, am I supposed to become trans and lesbian because of this?
Oh, here come the stock footage.
There you go.
Are you going to be Vice President of the United States?
No. Oh, there she goes.
Greetings, America. It is truly an honor to be speaking with you tonight.
I hate the way she speaks.
I'm so
always.
relatable.
Is a
I'm a mom.
Well, she wears clothes.
Generations of women. Women and men who believed so fiercely in the promise of equality, liberty, and justice for all. This week marks the 100th anniversary of the passage.
Get the
of
clowns going in the
19th
chat.
Amendment,
Get them up there.
and we celebrate the women who fought for that right. Yet so many of the Black women who helped secure that victory
Oh, here we go.
still prohibited from voting long after its ratification. But they were undeterred. Without fanfare or recognition,
There we go.
they organized and testified and rallied and marched and fought, not just for their vote, but for a seat at the table. These women and the generations that followed worked to make democracy.
The media is going to act like this is the greatest thing they've ever seen. But we already see it now.
All of us who followed. They paved the way for the trailblazing.
Her speech
leadership
just started,
of
and this
Barack
thing is scheduled to
Obama
end in
and
6
Hillary
minutes.
Clinton.
We're going to be here a while, folks.
And
Get
these
comfortable.
women inspired us to pick up the torch and
So
fight
stunning and brave, right? I think she
Women
inspired
like
you to be stunning and brave.
Burrell, Mary Cloyd Bethune, Fannie Lou Hamer,
Mary McLeod Bethune?
and Diane Nash, Constance Baker,
Maybe it is
Motley,
pronounced McLeod.
and
Interesting.
the great Shirley Chisholm. We're not often taught their stories, but as Americans, we all stand on their shoulders.
Oh, the zoom in. They zooming in on her.
Whose name isn't known, whose story
It's about to
isn't
get intense. They've zoomed in.
Another woman whose shoulders I stand on.
Whoa.
And that's my mother,
Oh.
Shamala Gopalan Harris.
She has a mom
came
just
here
like you.
from India at age
What?
19
Her mom was an immigrant, just like
She
you.
has a
during
mom?
cancer. At the University
No way,
of
I have a
California,
mom
Berkeley,
too.
She met my father,
I
Donald
should vote for
Harris,
her.
who had come from Jamaica to study economics. They fell in love in that most American way while marching together for justice in the civil rights movement of the 1960s. In the streets of Oakland and Berkeley, I got a stroller's eye view of people getting into what the great John Lewis called good trouble. When I was 5, my parents split, and my mother raised us mostly on her own.
Yep, there you go.
Like so many mothers,
Yeah.
she worked around the clock to make it work, packing lunches before we woke up and paying bills after we went to bed, helping us with
Wait.
homework at the kitchen table and shuttling us to church for
It's just a
choir
bunch of
practice.
polls. Oh,
She made
God.
it look easy, though it never was. My mother instilled in my sister Maya and me the values that would
She has a
chart
sister just like you.
the course of our lives. She raised us to be proud, strong Black women, and she raised us to know and be proud of our Indian heritage.
Why are people
She
spamming this
taught
emoji?
us to put family first, the family you're born into, and the family.
And she has a family just like you.
Oh, wow.
Family
She's relatable,
is
guys.
my
That's what she is.
husband,
She's
Doug,
totally relatable.
who I met on a blind date set up by my best friend.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Family is our beautiful children, Cole and Ella,
Oh, wow, that's
who
cool.
call me Mamala. Family
Cringe.
is my sister. Family is my best friend, my nieces.
She
and
has a
my
best
daughters.
friend just like you. She has a niece just like you.
Family is my uncles, my aunts, and my chitties. Family is
God.
Mrs. Shelton, my second mother.
Why do we
who lived
care?
2 doors down and helped raise
She's
me.
telling us about our neighbor.
Family
Why?
is my
Because,
beloved
Chandler, she has a family just like you. Look how relatable she is.
divine
You know how you have an aunt
and
and
my
uncle? Well, she does
HBCU
too.
brothers and sisters.
I don't have an aunt and uncle. Get out of here.
Family, friends I turn to when my mother, the most important person in my life,
And she smokes
passed
weed and
away
listens to
from
Snoop Dogg.
cancer.
It's all right, Lou.
Of
We'll
course.
see you
Even
later.
as she taught us to keep our family at the center of our world,
Good point. She has a
she
toilet
also
too.
pushed us to see a world beyond ourselves.
She has kidneys?
She
No way,
taught
me
us
too.
to be conscious and compassionate.
She
about
breathes
the
oxygen
struggles of
just
all
like us.
people, to believe public service is a noble cause and the fight for justice is a shared responsibility. That led me to become a lawyer,
Cop.
a district attorney,
Cop.
attorney general,
Cop.
and a United States senator.
Cop.
And at every step of the way,
Oh, that room is
I've
packed
been guided by the
for a
words I
Democrat.
spoke from the first time I stood.
That's honestly kind of
in a
creepy. It's so
courtroom.
empty in there.
Kamala Harris for the people. I have fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I fought against transnational criminal organizations.
Oh my God.
I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one. My mother taught me that service to others gives life purpose and meaning. And oh, how I wish she were here tonight, but I know she's looking down on me from above. I keep thinking about that 25-year-old Indian woman, all of 5 feet tall, who gave birth to me at Kaiser Hospital
She's
in
5
Oakland,
feet tall?
California.
No way, I'm 5 foot something too.
On that day, she probably could have never
Whoa.
imagined that I would be standing before you now.
That's
and
crazy.
speaking these words. I accept
I
your
too speak
nomination
words.
for vice president.
So
of the United
inspirational. Oh my
America.
God.
I do so.
I have a family and now I'm going to be the vice president.
I
She
can't relate to
taught
her
So
anymore.
inspirational.
to the word that teaches me to walk by faith and not by sight. And to a
Yo, she
vision
stands up, right?
passed on
Whoa,
through
me too.
generations of Americans, one that Joe Biden shares.
Go,
A
you
vision
know
of our
the
nation
thing.
as a beloved community, where all are welcome, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from, or who we love.
Oh.
A country where we may not agree on every detail, but we are united by the fundamental belief that every human being is of infinite worth, deserving of compassion, dignity, and respect. A country
Okay, come
where we
on.
look out for one
Okay.
another, where we rise and fall as one,
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
where
Okay.
we face our challenges and celebrate our triumphs together.
Together, you and me, because we're so relatable. Of course.
That country feels distant.
I am you.
Donald Trump's
There's
failure
a Kanye quote.
has cost lives.
And a different monolith, I am him.
No.
If
That was like
you're
one of the
a
presidential candidates that
parent
said that. I think it was like
struggling
Buttigieg that
with your
said that.
child's
He said,
remote
I
learning,
am you.
or you're a
It's
teacher
hilarious.
struggling on the other side of that screen, you know what we're doing right now is not
I am
working.
struggling. She is correct. I'm struggling.
And we are a nation that is grieving the loss of life,
Oh,
the loss of
George
jobs,
Floyd. Oh, okay.
the loss of opportunities, the loss of normalcy, and yes, the loss of certainty.
Yes,
And
these are
while
unprecedented times. I'm so
touches
relatable.
us all,
Oh,
we got to be honest.
oh,
It is not an equal opportunity offender.
oh.
Black, Latino, and Indigenous people are suffering and dying.
Nothing but
disproportionately.
victimhood. That's all we are.
And this is not a coincidence. It is the effect of structural racism.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Blame it on the
in
system.
education
Here we
and
go.
technology, healthcare, and housing.
The structural racism that allowed her to
and
become the vice
transportation.
presidential, right?
The injustice in reproductive and maternal health care.
Abortion
the
isn't
excessive
healthcare.
Use of force by police, and in our broader criminal justice system.
People are dropping off like flies.
This virus,
Like Kamala was
it
born.
has no eyes.
Unbelievable.
And yet it knows
My vote already.
exactly how we see each other and how we treat each other.
Doesn't add up
And
to the
let's be
narrative.
clear.
Yep.
There is no vaccine for racism. we've got to do the work.
I know this is she's only making the speech like this so that the media will be like, oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
One of the side
many
effects for the
others to
vaccine
name
vaccine for racism will
for
just turn your
our
skin black.
children.
It's stupid.
And for all of us. We've got to do the work to fulfill that promise of equal justice
There we
under
go.
law.
There we go.
Because here's the thing, none of us are free until all of us are free.
Wow.
Wow, very
So we're at an
insightful.
inflection
Insightful
point.
statement there.
The constant chaos leaves us adrift.
God,
The incompetence
these people are so bad.
makes us feel afraid. The callousness makes us feel alone. It's a lot. And here's the thing.
Make it stop.
We can do better and deserve so much more.
I got hairy legs.
We must elect a president who will bring something different, something better.
Something
and do
different?
the important
This man's
work.
been in office for like 4 decades.
President
How is that different than
will
anything we've
bring
ever had
all
before?
of us
Oh wait,
together.
Trump is different because he's
Black,
only been in
white,
office for 4
Latino,
years in
Asian,
total.
Indigenous.
Or not even 4 years yet.
To
But
achieve
basically,
the future we collectively want. We must elect Joe Biden.
We must. She's holding her fist
I'll
up.
tell you, I knew Joe.
Vote for
as
Joe
Vice
Biden or
President.
else.
She's pointing
I
at you.
knew Joe on the campaign trail
Yeah, you knew him.
as the father of my friend.
what?
So Joe's
You also
son,
called him a
Bo,
racist.
and I
And
served
said
as
you believe his
the
accusers.
of
But I
our
guess that's
faith
not
in
relevant
Delaware and
anymore.
California. During the Great Recession,
I bet you loved
he
his.
and I spoke on the phone nearly every day.
It doesn't matter because she's
working
relatable.
together to win back billions of dollars for homeowners from the
Ugh,
big banks.
my ears
that
are getting tired of
foreclosed
hearing
on
her.
People's homes. And Bo and I, we would talk about his family, how as a single father, Joe would spend 4 hours every day riding the train back and forth from
It's kind of weird how
Wilmington
often
to
she brings up Bo Biden.
Bo
Like,
and
kinda
Hunter
weird.
got to have breakfast every morning with their dad. They went to sleep every night with the sound of his voice reading bedtime stories.
Oh man.
And while they endured,
I'm sure they're not the only
an
children that have heard that
unspeakable
from Joe
loss,
Biden.
those two little boys always knew that they were deeply, unconditionally loved. And what also moved me about Joe is the work that he did as he was going back and forth.
Save it for the family
This
reunion.
is the leader
This is irrelevant.
who wrote the Violence Against Women Act and enacted the assault weapons ban, who as vice president implemented the Recovery Act, which brought our country back from the Great Recessions. He championed the Affordable Care Act, protecting millions of Americans with
Yep, he's a nice man and a good guy.
Who
Biden
spent
2020.
promoting American values and interests around the world. Joe, he believes we stand with our allies and stand up to our adversaries.
You stand up.
Right
Obama was
now,
the, that was
we
bowing
have a
down to him.
president who turns our tragedies into political weapons.
They
What?
turned coronavirus into freaking.
Is that not what they just did for the last 3 hours?
Into purpose.
Parkland. Oh, March for Our
Joe will
Lives.
bring us
COVID-19.
together
Oh, we've
to
lost
build an
everything.
economy
George Floyd and the
that
riots.
doesn't leave
Oh,
anyone
look
behind.
at Black Lives Matter.
Where
What do you
a
mean
good
turn
paying
tragedies
job
into political
is
plays? That's
the
all you
floor,
guys do.
not the
You're nothing
ceiling.
more than that.
Joe will bring us together to end this pandemic and make sure that we are prepared.
Joe's gonna
for the next
intervene
one.
and stop the pandemic.
Joe will bring us together.
Remember
to
when he formed a
squarely
shadow
face
council to
and
deal with the
dismantle
coronavirus?
racial injustice.
It lasted like 2 days.
And then he fell asleep.
Joe
and then he
I
forgot.
believe that we can build
We can.
that beloved community.
Just say yes, we can. You know you want to
One
plagiarize
that is
something else.
Strong and decent, just and kind. One in which we can all see ourselves. That's the vision that our parents and grandparents fought for. The vision that made my own life possible.
She has grandparents and grandparents like you.
Oh,
That
shoot.
makes the American promise.
I don't think grandparents would be very happy with
for
where
all
politics
its
is right now.
complexities and
Especially with how far left the Democrat Party is. I don't think any Democrats from 30 years ago would agree with anything happening today in the Democrat Party.
The road ahead is not easy. We may
But
stumble.
we will do it together.
We may fall short.
Oh, it's finally ending.
But I pledge to you that we will act boldly and deal with our challenges honestly. We will speak truths. And we will act with the same faith in you that we ask you to place in us.
Yeah.
That our country, all of us, will
She's been over time
stand
for almost 10
together
minutes.
for a better future.
It's normal now. She just can't stop.
And we already are. We see it in the doctors, the nurses, the home health care workers, and frontline workers who are risking their lives to save people they've never
In fact,
met.
let's get one less fat cap in the
see it
chat for the night,
teachers and
unless she
truck
lies.
drivers, the
Get that fat
factory
cap
workers
going.
and farmers, the postal workers and poll workers, all putting their own safety on the line to help us get through this pandemic.
Enjoy your flight,
And
Bill.
we see it in
Let me
so
know if it's
many
on
of
the
you
Lolita
who
Express.
are working, not just to get us through our current crisis, but to somewhere better.
Build back better.
There's something happening all across our country.
I love the chat delay.
It's not
It's like a
about
minute
Joe
later,
or
and then
me.
it's all the caps coming
It's
through.
about you. And it's about us. People of all ages and colors and creeds who are, yes, taken to the streets and also persuading our family members, rallying our friends, organizing our neighbors, and getting out.
If we
to
could, we
vote.
would. You'd stop
And
her.
we have shown that when we vote, we expand access to health care and expand access to the ballot box and ensure that more
Expand
working
access to
families
illegal voting
can
and
make
expand
a
access to
decent living.
sub-quality health care.
And I'm so inspired by a new generation. You are pushing
And
us
yet no one is inspired by you,
realize the
Kamala.
ideals
Aside from
of
those
our
kids who
nation.
you fed a couple
Pushing
gallons of
us
lollipops
to
before you had
live
them
the
recorded.
values we share. Decency,
Even the stupid 18 to
fairness,
24-year-olds. Good question.
justice, and love.
Love.
You
You used love to get to where you are.
remind us
We know.
that to
We know.
love our country is to fight for the ideals of our country.
Except this country's the only thing you don't love, Kamala.
In this election, we have a chance to change the course of history. We're all in this fight. You, me, and Joe.
I got hairy legs.
What an awesome responsibility. What an awesome privilege.
Privilege?
So let's fight with conviction.
She's pointing at you again. She's pointing at me again.
Let's fight with confidence in ourselves and a commitment to each other, to the America we know is possible, the America we love.
She's like a school principal that like tries to be relatable to the kids and just is not, and everyone's like, ew. That's her. That's Kamala Harris.
Our grandchildren.
We
will
lost
look in
Fiona.
our eyes,
Sorry, Fiona. We
and
did
they're
our
gonna
best.
ask
We're almost
us,
done, though. Thank you for tuning
where were
in.
you when the stakes were so high? They will ask us.
She seems like she'd be an English teacher.
And we will tell them.
I got hairy legs.
We will tell them not just how we
We will
felt.
tell them. I got hairy legs.
We will tell them what.
That cord pup was a bad dude.
Thank you. God bless you.
Oh.
And God bless the United States of America.
I never thought I'd see the day. Okay, let me just mute that. I don't know
What song is
I don't know what
playing
the
right
song
now?
is. I don't even know what it is, but it sounds like copyright.
Here comes the Zoom clapping.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lag clap.
Is that Stacey Abrams? Stacey Abrams. I think it looks like Stacey Abrams. She's waving to them. She's waving to them.
That looks like a green screen that she's waving to. It looks too high quality to be like a camera recording a screen.
Oh my god. Oh god. She's. I'm telling you, she's like that annoying school principal.
She
She's an
waves like a
annoying
penguin
school
from Club
principal.
Penguin.
She's an annoying school principal that people pretend to like, but they don't. She's trying to be relatable to the kids and the young folk. but she's not. Oh, here comes Biden. Here comes Biden.
Why is he always creeping behind the stage?
30330.
It's kind of weird. He looks lost. When did I get here?
Kamala's doing the Biden arms. Oh my god. There's the one person in the crowd is taking a picture.
He's the one person in the crowd. Period. Nothing more than that.
Here comes Joe Biden. Here comes Kamala's husband, I guess.
What?
And they're out here having a good time.
I would have the audio on, but they just will not turn the music off.
Biden is not sure who he's waving at.
Oh.
He's forgotten.
It's been extra long on the gay guys.
Well, you gotta score the diversity.
You gotta get that diversity points, yeah. The diversity Olympics.
See, Joe's officially lost. He's like,
wear their masks.
He's like, Joe is like, okay, what do we do now? I was not given instructions on what to do after this. What do we do now? Okay, we walk like human beings. All right, that's what we're doing.
It's literally only journalists there. That's hilarious. Jeez, how long are they gonna play this song? How long is this song? Period. It will not stop. There we go.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
There you
To
go.
close out the night, we've got
right.
some amazing music from the incomparable Jennifer
What?
Hudson, as well as some highlights from tonight.
Nah.
And then tomorrow, we'll hear from more Americans fighting for a more perfect
Yeah, no.
union.
Yeah,
Fighting
we're not
for all of us.
doing this.
Joe Biden will officially accept the nomination for president.
Finally.
I'll be tuning in.
That's gonna
I
be
hope
the-
you will too. Thank you for letting me be a part of your night.
That's gonna be the real show tomorrow when Biden makes the speech.
Yeah.
His likely pre-recorded speech.
Yeah,
but
Vince
we'll
and I
have to
will
see.
get all dressed up for it and everything. We're gonna have our suits on tomorrow. We're gonna be looking spiffy so that we can react to this interesting event tomorrow. So let's just get our reviews going. So at the beginning, I was honestly tired. I did not get much sleep last night. I was kind of slow. But after everything they said today, you guys could probably see it in the stream. Something snapped in me, and I woke up and I was upset. Honestly, I say it before. I don't usually get too emotional with politics, but something that they said at some point just snapped me awake. I was screaming at them. Honestly, today was definitely a lot more entertaining than yesterday was, to say the least. If that's a word you can use. It kept me awake, to say the least. It kept me engaged because just fallacy after fallacy, lie after lie, and it really helped me to see the bigger picture and see just how they truly see people that look like me. Even though we could all believe different things and we all live different lives, they look at my skin color and it automatically jumps to one specific event that they talk about or one specific note that they want to push, rather than thinking, oh well, this person's an individual. Let me learn more about them and see what makes them tick and see what I can do for them as a politician to improve their lives for our nation. But instead, they look at me and say, "Oh, he's black. We used to get lynched back in the day," or "Oh, you couldn't vote," or "Oh, you were 3/5 of a person back in the day." I wasn't around then. I don't even think my ancestors were in this nation at that point yet. So why does that apply to me? Because I'm black? Because my hair looks like this? Because I other things about me that are outside of my control? That is what causes you to speak to me in a certain way and contact me and treat me all because of this one thing that was outside my control. It's just my one unified experience. That is what you have for me. It doesn't make sense. It's the very opposite thing that they move for. And I said this. I'm gonna let you speak in a second, Vince. But I said this during the stream that they always preach for one thing, but then act the exact opposite way. And I hate that so much. Go ahead.
What I found, I love this sort of pretentious lecturing, but what I was like most irritated by, since that's what you said, I guess that's what I'll say too, was actually just how divisive the message was, right? Because people in the media always try to pretend like Obama was uniter in chief, but you saw it tonight. Obama's actually is not so much in 2008, but really his second term. This is really when it started to come out. Is actually an extremely divisive figure. It has very divisive messaging. You look at tonight, he basically, and Michelle did too, his wife did too, basically pushed this message that it's not even about politics, guys. It's not even about politics. But if you support President Trump, if you don't believe us that Joe Biden is a nice guy and a good man, and if you don't believe in the character and the moral soul of this country, it's about the soul of this country, then you are a bad person, right? The basket of deplorables sort of comment goes beyond just one comment by Hillary Clinton. It really is a message. I mean, it's a theme you see with a lot of these Obama administration officials, which is that if you're against us, if you're against what we're doing, the 60 million Americans that voted for Donald Trump, they are bad people, and they just don't get it. Like Michelle Obama said, I know some people just won't get it. Yeah, if you're not on board with the message, then you don't get it. Just they put the American, they try to say, this is how they said it's fake objectivity. You see it in the media too. You see CNN do the fake objectivity game where it's like, we're not partisan, we're just objective journalists. And if you don't believe in it, then you're just denying the facts, right? They set up this fake objectivity where it's not even a political issue. So that way they lump a huge group of Americans, just like half the country, they lump into this little group of bad people. They're morons, they're racist, they're degenerates. You really believe half your country is racist? And if it is, I mean, where's the evidence of it? Why isn't the KKK out marching every weekend? Why isn't like the 1920s? Where's Birth of a Nation airing in every movie theater?
They believe a lot of disgusting things, and you said it very well, and I think I should really add on to it. Democrats have no right to speak about morality. Democrats have no right to speak about empathy because they lack both. No matter how much they fake it to you, no matter how much they act like they do, no matter how much they bring on people to talk about their sob stories and talk about their family and say, look at me, I'm relatable, I'm a human. They have no right to speak about either of those things because they stand for nothing but death and hatred and lies. You can look at their long, extensive history and they can try to lie to you and say, oh, the party swisher. They can try to lie to you and say, oh, well, we don't stand for that anymore. And you know what? Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't stand for the exact same things they did 40 years ago. But what they do stand for is the same principle. And that principle is on lies, hatred, deceit, all of that all those terrible things that they will never stop telling you about. They look at me, they can only think about the terrible things that have happened, not the inventions that were created by Black people, not the richest Black people alive, not the Black people that have been able to accomplish things within this nation, not the Black people that have started families and have stuck with those families, not the Black people that still have nuclear families. They're always willing to show you the stories about where the Black father left the home and it was just the Black mother raising their 3 Black kids and that's how it went. They're never willing to tell you the stories about the Black father that stayed and created a stable family like mine. My father stayed with my family. My parents stayed together. They created a great family of mine with my brother Mikkel Crump. We are a good Black family, but they will never prop up stories like ours because that breaks the entire narrative. That breaks the entire narrative they want to push because they want to push the narrative that Black people aren't able to do anything in this nation. They want to push the narrative that Black people are eternal victims. They want to push that same narrative about every other race that they champion for too. Latino race, LGBT race, women. They want to say the same thing about women too. Kamala Harris. They say don't say anything bad about her because they think that she is too weak to accept any criticism you may give. Even though during the presidential debates we had all those presidential candidates who would speak bad about her and all the other female presidential candidates because it didn't matter then. But now that she is in a place where she isn't in competition with other female Democrats, now she's immune. She can't accept any of that stuff because she's too weak for it. She is just like all the other ones like us. Because in the eyes of Democrats, we are nothing but little pieces of clay that they can mold into whatever they want. They can mold this into the little checks that they cash each time the election season comes around, that they want to get some votes. They want to get some power. They want to get some money. You ever wonder why every single Democrat that is elected comes out rich? Because they are corrupt as hell and they don't care about anything about this country except for making their dime and getting their power for a few years until they get out and the next race and the next generation of them comes along so they can champion off of you, make their next wad of cash and keep the cycle going until this country's dead, until this democracy is dead. But we are not a democracy. We are a republic. And there's some things that our nation stands for that Democrats simply don't care about. And those things are empathy, love, and kindness. Those are not the values of the Democrat Party.
You know, I love the spiel about the soul of this. I have heard that phrase about 4 times. The soul of this nation. They talk about Trump and his supporters have damaged the soul of this nation. I mean, you really go back and look, like people. We're in 2020, and say what you will about Trump, okay, whatever. But some people still don't understand why he was elected. They don't get it. They just don't get it. So it goes longer than 8 years, okay? This was a problem with Republicans and Democrats. It really was a problem just in general with the political establishment. Because Obama brought up specifically, like, if you're a white working class worker and you like talking about your job getting outsourced and you feel like your political system isn't working for you, okay, well, Obama was a huge driver in that. I mean, Obama supported all sorts of globalist trade deals. And then for 8 years, these people told people living in the middle of the country, ordinary, hardworking people, that just sit down, just get along, just go with the system, okay? You know what? Your job, we're outsourcing your job with TPP, but just go with it, okay? And if you criticize me for it, you're a racist and you're a bad person, okay? Just get with the system and shut up, okay? So, and by the way, that happened a lot. A lot of Republicans were on board with that sort of problem too. But with that being said, okay, look at 2016. Why are you surprised that a bunch of Americans voted for this political outsider who they felt like really spoke to them? I mean, why should you be surprised when people reject an Obama administration candidate, establishment candidate, for someone from the outside who actually talked about these issues? Like, he was the working class, the Midwestern working class, like states like Michigan, Minnesota. These are not historically Republican. These are historically very Democrat states, because in past years, past decades, Democrats were seen as the party of unions, as the party of working class. And this political outsider, ironically, the most ironic part about it, this billionaire from New York, right, goes to these ordinary people and really speaks to them. Why should you be surprised when you alienate half the country for so many years? Why should you be surprised when the country gives you a backlash? And here's an idea. You know, if we really want to fix this country from a bipartisan standpoint, instead of assuming, and one Democrat I will give credit to this is Andrew Yang, because he says, you know, if we want to solve the problem of Donald Trump, we need to actually understand why Donald Trump was elected. Only Democrat I've ever heard say that, something like that, this whole 4 years. If we want to move forward as a country, if you guys hate Trump and you want to go back to like a calmer political time, then we have to stop demonizing half the country as immoral and bigots and racist, and actually listen to, I think, a real pain that's going on in this country. I'm not saying Trump solves all those problems, because he definitely does not. There's still, I think, sort of this unanswered populism in the country that's going on that neither side has answered. But if we continue to reject it and pretend like it doesn't exist and pretend like these people are simply bad people, then you will start to see candidates that are even crazier and sort of more outsiders than Trump continuously get elected, and the political establishment is just not going to understand it.
The political establishment doesn't really understand a lot of things about this country. When we look at President Obama, he just gave a speech and he took credit for practically every single thing Donald Trump has accomplished for this nation. Somebody commented a couple of seconds ago, and it was a quote from Obama. He said, "Those jobs aren't coming back." Donald Trump came into office and he brought those jobs back. He got this country building again. He got this country moving into he got this country moving into the 21st century again. He got this country moving forward. But now, once things are actually looking good and election season comes around again, President Obama is willing to step into the limelight again and say, "Oh, well, actually, I did that. I laid the seeds. I had the biggest job growth." Man, no, you didn't. We throw fat caps in the chat when you lie to us, when you lie to our face, okay? I'm tired of Democrats lying to my face and taking credit for things that they didn't do, and throwing blame for things that they did do on other people. They say, "Oh, well, this country has a history of racism and a history of white supremacy." Dude, that was you. You look back to the beginning with the Democrat Party. It was founded on white supremacy. It was founded on racism. It was founded on slavery. It was founded on the defense of every single obscene thing that this nation stands for. It was founded on those things that you always say, this is what our country should be fighting. You need to take a deep look at yourselves. If you think that you're doing anything good for this nation, you think you're fighting white supremacy or anything like that, you're aligned with the wrong side. You have a lot of self-discovery you have to do if you still think you're fighting on the right side of this. I heard one of the Democrats today say, and I'm too angry to remember correctly, but one of the Democrats said that we are on the right side of history. And I think I said in the moment, what history are you referring to? Okay, let's look back at our history. You have the Ku Klux Klan. You have Jim Crow laws. They reference both of those things. They reference white supremacy. They reference slavery. Yet they fail to recognize that it was their own racist history and their own idiotic history, their own hateful history that caused all four of these things. The Ku Klux Klan was an effort by the Democrat Party to suppress black people trying to be Republicans. If you look immediately after the Civil War, the Republican Party flourished with black Republicans because black people saw that the Republican Party fought for their rights. This is our history of our nation, not that revisionist crap, not that crap that they try to tell you in schools about the party switch. No, this is our history. The Republicans fought for us. And yet now we have Democrats saying that we're fighting for you. Now we have Democrats saying that we're fighting white supremacy. You are white supremacy. So get off the stage talking about we saved America. Get off the stage talking about suffrage when you didn't actually care about it. Get off the stage talking about white supremacy when it was your racist history that caused it. And get off the stage taking credit for things that you didn't do, Obama. And I'm done. I'm done.
All right. No, I think I'm pretty much done too. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you join us tomorrow night. We'll be starting. Actually, I'll just say this real quick for my viewers. So instead of I usually air the weekly show on Fridays. Instead, I'm just gonna do my episode, this week's episode of the show, before we start the DNC stream tomorrow. So at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific time, I will be streaming my weekly show, America Rising, and then at 5:15, I'll bring Chandler on. We'll start the stream on Chandler's channel, and we'll do night 4 of the DNC. And so mine will be one long stream. So if you're on my channel, you're one of my viewers, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, we will start the show. And then at 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern, we'll start the convention coverage. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you all so much for tuning in once again. I'm a little calmer now, but I'm gonna start getting more passionate like that, because honestly, it's really easy to look into the past and see what Democrats are talking about and see just how absolutely dumb, absolutely deceitful, and absolutely hateful they truly are. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It helps a lot. If you aren't, make sure you're subscribed. And if you also aren't, make sure you're following us on all our social media. I'm on Twitter at RealCCrump, Instagram Chandler.crump. Check out my website, of course. And Vince, go ahead.
Yeah, that's about it. Make sure if you're watching on my channel, make sure you
shout out your social media.
Video. Oh, sorry. It's at the Vince Dow on all my platforms. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you guys all tomorrow. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams using a similar format to this. Of course, myself, and then Vince is also going to be live streaming a lot more as well. So we're going to keep it up for you guys. A lot of new content coming soon. This is only just getting started, and this is only the beginning. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again. I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. And Vince, your outro.
See you guys.
Good job. Simple. It gets the job done, but thank you. And we will be in suits. Thanks for reminding me.